Welcome to the webinar. My name is Nicole Dauphiné. In a moment, you're going to join Mike Koenigs, who will show you how to build, engage, and monetize an audience with some of the most lucrative persuasion skills in the world. You will learn a powerful system to pitch, persuade, entertain, educate, and close those deals so you can build and grow your business. Please introduce yourself in chat. I will be there too. We'll be answering any questions you have. We've got a live studio audience today, so we're going to have a lot of fun. But first, let's learn a little more about 11-time #1 best-selling author and entrepreneur, Mike Koenigs.
I think Mike Koenigs is one of the most inspirational people I've ever seen.
He has an energy about him that is just infuses in you and just wants you to be the best who you want to be.
He's got this infectious smile and this nature about him. Yes, he's deadly serious and he really knows his stuff, but he's got this energy about him that makes you feel like, not only can I do it, but I want to do it. And he gives you that kind of energy.
He's just very sincere about wanting to help people.
The tools that Mike has brought to me have allowed me to revolutionize my business.
He has a vision for helping 1 million people to become millionaire entrepreneurs. That's going to change the whole world.
So today, I'm here to share with you, introduce to you a gentleman who's a dear friend of mine. He's helped me set up my studio and really helped me get going. He's been a dear friend, but more importantly, he's been a consultant to some of the biggest companies in the world. Here's a guy that started literally from nothing. But back in the early days of the web, back in 1991, most people forget, 1989 is when the World Wide Web really was created. So within a few years, he was already the guy that was, writing some of the first CD-ROMs games, that were out there, did some of the first Mac games that existed for Macintosh, went out and became the person that really, when the movie industry, was the guy that set up all those initial websites for Sony and for Columbia TriStar and for Fox. Was a guy that's managed or helped some of the largest business in the world, 3M, Domino's Pizza. But he's also shown people how to get started from nothing. And I know that's what he's probably most proud of.
Mike started his first business at 16, writing software. At 18, he became a computer programmer. Today, Mike's a millionaire.
We're going to tell you how to get off the grid the way the celebrities do. Mike Koenigs is here today. He's a film director, and he's put together this documentary called Life with Tesla.
Earning over $50 million online and helping more than 49,000 customers in 121 different countries, Mike Koenigs has influenced and advised business owners and entrepreneurs worldwide, helping them start, build, grow, and reinvent themselves in becoming experts, authorities, and best-selling authors and celebrities. He's interviewed, advised, and consulted some of the wealthiest and most influential business leaders, billionaires, and movie stars on the planet. For nearly 30 years now, Mike has brought celebrity-level marketing tools and his You Everywhere Now systems to entrepreneurs and businesses so that you can get you and your business found, seen, heard, watched, and read anytime, anywhere, and on any device. With the click of a button, you can leverage Apple, Google, Amazon, Facebook, and YouTube's social network to build, grow, engage, and monetize your audience, following, and brand today. Mike built and sold his last 2 businesses to publicly traded companies. His most recent exit was selling Traffic Geyser and Instant Customer in October 2014. Mike's first company, Digital Cafe, was sold to the publicly traded Interpublic Group in 1999. Mike came from humble beginnings. He grew up lower middle class in Eagle Lake, Minnesota, a small town in southwest Minnesota, population 763. He's the oldest of 4 kids, and his dad was a barber. Mike taught himself how to program when he was 14 years old. He's been writing code, innovating, consulting, and advising business owners, CEOs, and celebrities since he was 16 years old. After 30 years as a serial entrepreneur, Mike Koenigs is an 11-time #1 best-selling author, international top-rated speaker, consultant, angel investor, host of his own TV show, and philanthropist who has raised over $2.4 million for the Just Like My Child Foundation and Girl Power Project, an organization that empowers the world's most vulnerable girls to have control and take control of their bodies, their education, their communities, and their future.
So I want to introduce to you Mike Koenigs, my dear friend. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, thanks a lot, Tony. Hi, this is Mike Koenigs, and I want to talk to you today about how you can build an online business. All right, welcome to the show. We actually have a studio audience, so if you haven't already introduced yourself, make sure you introduce yourself in chat. My name is Mike Koenigs.
And Mike Vilsame here.
All right, and just in case you don't know Mike, he is the co-creator of Webinar Jam and EverWebinar, the systems that we're using today. Thanks for being here, man.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. And thanks for always asking me to be part of these things, Mike. It's always a lot of fun.
It's great. Well, you add a plus to my life. It's great to have you here, man. All right, so we've got an incredibly exciting program scheduled for you today because this is all about how to amplify your message, create a movement, build, engage, and monetize an audience in 10 minutes with the highest paying skill in the world. I know that sounds like a big claim, but you'll get it in a little while because we've got some great training for you. So first of all, I want to acknowledge everyone in the audience and also let you know we're going to be answering your questions throughout. We've got a whole team here. In fact, Nicole, you're standing by in chat.
Happy to be here.
All right, great to have you. That's Nicole Dauphiné. She is also going to be on the phones a little bit later on if you have any questions that you want to ask. Mike's going to be here asking and answering questions. We have a whole team, and of course, we have our studio audience. I don't know if we can show our whole group here, but I at least want to show that we do have a studio audience. So we're doing something very different. A few people came as a result of a bonus of one of our other programs, had a chance to be here in the studio, and we said, why don't you stay an extra day because we are going to be broadcasting live, doing a program and a show, and this is brand new content. I have actually just finished putting this presentation together. I was up last night from 2:30. I went to bed for about an hour and a half at 6 o'clock this morning, came back to be with you here today, so I'm super excited about that.
Mike, I'm excited as well. Speaking is one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to get into all the advantages that people can do with that.
Right on.
Traveling, being able to bring your family, just some of the perks, being able to travel the world, bring your family, get all your expenses paid, and have a profit doing it as well. I'm excited to see what you got today.
Super. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get ready and get the presentation.
I'll tell them what they can be doing in the meantime.
So that sounds great. All right, let's do it.
All right. So with Webinar Jam, we've got a chat, and many of you guys are blowing that up as well in there. Remember, if you do have a question for us, your questions can get lost in the chat if everybody's talking in the chat. So what you do, there's a little quote icon right before where you chat. You can drop that down, toggle it as a question. That goes into a separate bin that we can see here, Nicole, myself, and Ed over here, that we can see separately in the dashboard, and we can either answer you directly right during the training here today, or we can put it into a queue if it's a specialized question that's going to require the knowledge of Mike. We're going to wait for the end of the broadcast. We do always see every question that's put in the bin, so you don't have to ask it twice. But remember, if you don't toggle it as a question, we won't be able to see it, and it'll just disappear while everybody else is typing. All right, Mike? Other than that, they should be ready.
Thanks a lot. All right. So first of all, again, welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm going to go through this, so take a lot of notes. Get your pens and pages ready. Make sure you turn off all your distractions because my goal is to give you some incredibly useful, usable information. And also, as I see in the background, you're going to experience the most valuable skill in the world and how to generate more income and have more impact and create a movement in 10 minutes. And also stick around because I'm going to give you an opportunity to get a copy of my slides at the end of this presentation. Now, I still recommend you take lots of notes because it has been proven, scientifically proven, that the more you move your pen and write, the more you remember, okay? You'll be much more implementation-minded. But I want to begin this with an interesting idea. This is a date, January 9th, 2007. And I don't know if you remember that day, but this is the day that something really, really important happened. I'm going to play a very small chunk of a short video, and let's talk about what happened next, because we are talking about how you can create a movement, how you can create massive profits. But this is probably the most successful, at least financial and business story I know of. Check this one out.
So, 3 things: a widescreen iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communications device. An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
Well, and reinvent the phone they did. I don't know about you, but I got my handy dandy iPhone right here, and so do most people I know. Billions have been sold, and right now, Apple is the most valuable company in the world. And by the way, he was at 3 minutes and 43 seconds when that happened. So think about what happened, okay? Apple is on its way to be the first $1 trillion corporation in the world. And it's because Steve Jobs mastered the art of the story. He didn't stand up there and teach. He didn't stand up there and bore us. He mastered the art of story. So let's move on to another one. This one, very interesting, applicable to all of us. Actually really applicable to all of us. Imagine back 33 AD and this picture right here. This was Sermon on the Mount by Jesus Christ. This is considered the most influential speech ever recorded or quoted, the most popular one. And this is the one that began with, "Blessed are the poor." It didn't begin, but it was one of the first lines is, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Now, why is this important to you? Well, think about it. And this is a little bit humorous, but it's something I saw recently. I don't know if you're a fan of Louis C.K., but as he said, the Christians won. Okay, and listen to this. So we are counting the days since Jesus together, which makes sense if you're a Christian, but what the blank are the rest of us doing? So Jesus was here, everybody, scientists, historians, Jesus plus 2, Jesus plus 3, Jesus plus 4, Jesus plus 2017 years, plus 4 months and 3 days is when your license expires. How is that not a win for the Christians? Okay, we don't do before Allah or before Krishna, okay? So the point is, a speech changed the world forever. And look, we can argue a whole bunch of details here, but the point is, we live in BC and AD, okay? It's because you could say Jesus Christ was one of the greatest orators who ever lived. But let's fast forward a little bit. August 28th, 1963. That's when this was happening.
So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. Yeah. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
Well, I don't know about you, but I believe that right now, leadership is something that our whole world, our country in particularly, really needs. Free at last, free at last. That was 5 minutes and 1 second into that particular speech. Martin Luther King called for an end to racism in the United States, and the speech was a defining moment of the civil rights movement. It changed the world. So great speakers, since the dawn of time, the stump speech as it was, have either created or destroyed armies. And translated, that can be the pen is mightier than the sword. But the whole point is, it has been great speeches by great men and great women that have defined who we are as human beings. And so a big part of what I have to share with you today is how you can use this skill. And over time, I put together a system that you can adapt, you can use in your own business to build and engage and monetize an audience. Now, maybe you won't be Martin Luther King or Jesus Christ or Steve Jobs, but this is certainly a tool and a resource that you can start using right now. So think about it. As a business owner, what do you need to do to gain the opportunity to do what you do? Okay, what does that mean? Well, think about it. And write this in, type it into chat right now. If I were going to ask you, what business are you in? What would you respond with? What would you type in? And this is genuine. Go ahead and type it in right now. What industry, what business, what do you do for a living? Where do you add value in someone else's life? And the truth is, what you do is something you have permission to do when someone opens up their wallets to you. Okay, no matter what it is. But before someone is going to open up their wallet to you, you've got to do something else first. So the fact of the matter is, you are actually in the attention business. And I love this quote. A study by Microsoft published in Time magazine reported that in the year 2000, the average attention span had dropped from 12 seconds to 8 seconds, and a goldfish has a 9-second attention span. So what are you doing right now to get more attention. Now you have 2 seconds to get someone's attention. Hopefully today, maybe the intro, maybe the sizzle reel, maybe one of these speeches has grabbed enough of your attention to say, hey, I'm going to stick around. But if you can get 2 seconds of someone's attention, you might get 20 seconds of their time. And if you earn, and I repeat, earn 10 minutes of someone's time, you can not only gain their attention, but you can earn their trust. So going back to this, you can influence and persuade and close almost anyone in only 10 minutes when you have the right formula, when you have the right framework. And this is a repeatable, learnable system. And I believe we have created a new hack and redefined the way stories can be told in a record period of time. But more importantly, if you can't get attention and tell a story, you won't have an opportunity to do what you do for anyone and get paid. In other words, you've got to get that 2 seconds, to get that 20 seconds, to get that 2 minutes, and hopefully those 10 minutes. Where you can actually change a life or create a movement and get paid. So how can you win the game of attention, trust, and popularity in 10 minutes or less? Well, that's a big part of what today's presentation is here for you. I'm going to take you on a journey, and my goal is to make it educational and fun and entertaining and inspirational and motivational all at the same time. So first, I want to give you a big idea. It's something I've been completely obsessed with for years. It's an idea called You Everywhere Now. The basic notion is helping people build, engage, and monetize audiences by getting found, seen, heard, viewed, listened to, watched, and read on any device, anywhere, anytime, and on demand. And the big idea is, how do you create once, create some content and repurpose and reuse it over and over and over again? And so we've devised and built a series of systems. I believe now we put together what I think is the ultimate combination of tools and resources to make that happen. So just imagine right now that if you had a 10-minute presentation and you had some formula, some resource, some framework that you could insert you into, and out would come not only a 10-minute presentation, but that could become a paid and a platform speech. What I mean is someone would actually pay you so you could speak on a stage, or you could present and sell something, or even do a free presentation or a speech. That could be online or offline. It can be anywhere. It can be an Instagram video. It can be a YouTube live video or a Facebook live video. But that exact same content can be repurposed and reused and turned into a book. Nowadays, we can publish on Amazon for free. Amazon, a multi-billion-dollar company, will distribute you for free and pay you. Now, that same content can be turned into a product and an automated webinar. Now, in a way, that's what I'm doing with you right now. I am presenting to you live, giving you an opportunity to interact with me, my team, a studio audience. But in the end, we're going to talk about how we can work together someday if you choose to move forward, okay? But this is all going to be the same content. Next, that can turn into consulting, coaching, or advising work. In other words, there's a lot of ways to monetize a speech. It can be a book. It can be selling products and services, okay? It can also be repurposing. The exact same content can be used to do a podcast show or to get media attention, go on TV, get on the radio to share your message. Same material repurposed and reused. And then maybe you could sell a mastermind, a certification, or some sort of a big ticket program. It's a very popular business model right now. I think it can be used by practically any business type. And of course, that can become a movement, a brand, or even a legacy. So that's the big idea behind the You Everywhere Now system. The goal is to find you everywhere and repurpose and reuse your content on any device, anytime, and on demand. So Mike Vilsame, I know you've got something you want to add.
Well, Mike, you got the right audience here. Helping others find passion in their life. This is what people put in when you said, what do you do for a living? Internet marketing, communication, accounting and tax, health transformation, people, personal growth, Department of Transportation, physicals for truck drivers. We have everything in here, advertising money. So we got the right people here. Excited.
Fantastic. Well, I think what's important about this opportunity for you is, look, what I'm about to share for you is imagine right now being able to do whatever you do, but be able to do it more effectively. So you can turn a dial, you can push a little lever, and you can get and close 5 or 10 or 50 times more business with the same amount of effort. But more important, being able to replicate yourself. So if you're excited about this There's going to be a lot more we're going to share. So I'm going to continue teaching. Is that all right?
Let's go for it.
All right, fantastic. So, and by the way, I'm watching your chat in real time here. I'm looking at you. So Jane is here, and Zeph, and I see Janet and David and Yvonne, Granny, Jim, Richard. So keep the comments coming. I'm here to support you in any way I can. Ask any questions because we're going to have plenty of time to answer those as well. So next, I want to talk a little bit about the money. We're going to talk about, so where's the money in this process? Well, we're also going to talk about how to craft a perfect presentation that will end in a standing ovation and a ton of new leads and sales for your business. And I would suggest that this will work for any business in any language, anywhere in the world. And also how to completely overcome any fear of being on stage or being on camera. I'm going to teach you my secret process I've been teaching for years right now. It's not that big of a secret, but it's a process to make you completely confident and comfortable in a minute. And also how to be funny and make an audience laugh. And you don't have to be a comedian to do this. I'm going to give you the shortcuts and the resources and tools to do it. And then we're going to cover a series of case studies, the 7 speaking myths and how to squash them. Love Kristen for putting together the squashy bug. I love this graphic and this image. And then I've got a couple stories for you. 2 of them that are personal, but I think you're going to learn a lot from them. It has actually completely changed my life. I hope I can change your life with them as well, which is my 10-year mistake that cost me at least $10 million and how I fixed the problem and doubled our revenue in 30 days. In fact, I forgot about this story for about 2 years, and I'm a little frustrated with myself for doing it. So my goal is to take you on this journey and help you and prevent you from making the same mistakes I have. And then an opportunity for me to help make you a star, help you to become more of a shining star that you already are. And I'd like to share your story to my audience of hundreds of thousands of people. So if you're interested in doing such a thing, I've got something that I think you're going to be very excited to see. So very briefly, who am I? Why should you listen to me? And why should you care in the first place? Well, you may have already seen what we call the sizzle reel, a little short video that played in the beginning. But the short backstory is I was born in a small town called Eagle Lake, Minnesota. That's actually my street sign where I was born and raised. My parents still live in the exact same home I was raised in 52 years later. I'm 51 right now. My dad was and still is a barber. He's 79 years old. He's still cutting hair. And I come from a fairly large family. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. And growing up, there are a few things that I heard on a regular basis. And one thing is my dad was very busy. I didn't see a lot of him because at any given time he was working about 4 jobs. As a barber, you don't make a lot of money, just cutting hair, and you are literally trading time for money. If you're not there, you're not making money. And he also did a whole bunch of other things. But growing up, I have frequently heard, we can't afford it. And there are a few things I never like hearing, which is we can't afford it or we don't have enough money. And the other thing I don't like is being cold. Eagle Lake, Minnesota is colder than blankety blank, blank, blank. Insert lots of swear words that rhyme with truck here. Okay. That was horrible. I hated it there. Okay. It's a beautiful place with beautiful people, but I don't resonate with that joint. I was also sent to a Catholic school for 12 years, and I've always had an issue with authority. I am a straight D- student. I did not learn how to learn. Severe ADHD. I am not a model citizen. So I was bad at everything growing up. But what is important is when I was 14, a neighbor loaned me a computer. He actually forced me to accept a payment so I'd babysit it for him because he knew that we didn't have any money. And I was interested in technology, and I taught myself how to program. And as a result, that sent me on a path. Because my dad was a good networker, I did learn that skill from him. He introduced me to some of his clients and customers that said, hey, maybe you can teach my secretary how to use a computer. One thing led to another, and pretty soon I was coaching, I was consulting from about 16, 17, 18. So I started my own business. I did not, like I said, I was not special in any way, but that's the one thing I looked at and said, I could probably get out of Eagle Lake, Minnesota if I learned how to program. So this is a picture years later of my first studio at home. A little bit later on, you can see it's filled with all kinds of nerd gadgets that can be completely replaced now with a mobile phone and a laptop. But moving on back to you, if you fast forward a little bit, I did build and grow, and I sold a couple businesses, but along the way, I struggled a lot. I dealt with, my first business cost me a marriage. I made every mistake imaginable, but I eventually met an important person who changed my life. Her name is Arielle Ford, and she represented 11 New York Times #1 best-selling authors. And together, we created my first information product. It was called Everything You Should Know About Publishing, Publicity, Promotion, and Platform Building. It exposed me to some of the biggest living legends who are authors. Deepak Chopra, who she represented, Wayne Dyer, Neil Donald Walsh, Don Miguel Ruiz, Louise Hay. These are people who back you had to actually sell books to become a New York #1 best-selling author. But because I made a product with her, I learned about the process of how to attract the media, how to tell stories, how to create products and package a personality that could make money someday. But I was doing it for someone else. I was still trading time for money, but that at least exposed me to that world. But the next thing that really changed my life is the creation of the next program. I was really interested in infomercials and video and how to use video to influence and persuade and close deals and make money. I thought, well, maybe I can adapt the television infomercial to work on the internet. So through a friend, I got introduced to a series of people. One of them was Joe Sugarman. Eventually, I met Dan Kennedy, and a whole bunch of other infomercial pioneers. They allowed me to interview them. I found a way to grab and compress all their knowledge and know-how, adapt it to the internet, and release this product a year before YouTube came out. Well, suddenly I was asked to be an expert and speak and present on stages. Now, I hadn't been doing that at all. When I was a very young boy, I was 5 years old, I was humiliated because I was singing with my dad who plays guitar, and I never entered back in front of an audience ever again for almost 30 years. So this was a breakout for me. I was suddenly recognized as an expert and asked to speak, and I went out in a sense of service. I wanted to help people, but it also taught me how to sell. Okay, but if you fast forward, that ended up evolving into a series of businesses. Traffic Geyser, Instant Customer. I started speaking and writing. We started doing launches online, doing online live webinars and all of this kind of thing, which I've been doing now for about 15 years. Eventually, my businesses got acquired in 2014. But again, along the way, I've made tons of mistakes. But the biggest takeaway lesson I learned is the most powerful skill you can ever learn is how to speak and present to an audience and multiply and amplify your message. And I was always on the lookout for hacks and shortcuts and ways to do it faster and more effectively. And that is the path, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to compress time for you and give you my best stuff. So along the way, though, there was a little derailment. About 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with stage 3A colorectal cancer, which, by the way, is a horrible place to get it. For a while, and this is my family, I was 2,521 miles away from home, separated from my family, waking up in a pile of my own hair. I weighed less than 150 pounds, and I had less than an hour of strength a day. But there I wrote and published and promoted my very first book. And again, that motivated me to find a way to share my message in case I passed along. I started thinking about legacy and what's really important. There were a lot of lessons that cancer taught me. But moving right along, as soon as I got out of there, I made a commitment. I'm going to sell my businesses, which I did, and change my life and start focusing on amplifying other people's messages even more, which brings us to today. The short version is I've helped lots and lots of people create and sell products online. And again, that's what I want to do with you today. So the good news is I'm now cancer-free, so it's great to be alive. My family certainly appreciates it, and hopefully you'll appreciate the gifts that I'm about to give to you today. So let's move on into another story that I think is going to help you a lot. It's going to frame the rest of the training that I'm going to share with you. First, though, I'm going to take a little sip of water. So anything interesting happening in chat that I need to know about Mike Phil's saying?
Mike, they're saying that I saw one before and it's gone away, that they're loving the information here and excited to see what it's like to become a speaker.
All right, fantastic. So here's what I'm going to share with you, my 10-year mistake that cost me at least $10 million and how I fixed the problem and doubled our revenue in 30 days. If you just walk away with this one nugget, it'll rethink the way you communicate and create relationships with your own clients and customers. So this is an older story. It's called Newbie Mike. And the way this goes is I was speaking once on a stage, and a woman walked up to me and she told me about her brother, Mike. Now, Mike had been struggling in his whole life, but especially right now, because at the time he was 27 years old. He didn't have a college education. He was broke, $10,000 in debt, laid off from the mortgage business 4 times in 1 year, working in the food service business. You can imagine how exciting that must be. Okay. He had no marketing experience, never made a dollar online, never been on camera, never edited a video, never consulted with a client, never made a website, and never created a product. Okay. Now, what ended up happening is I said, and she said, is there anything that he can do with you? Because she had seen me speaking and talking about online marketing. And I said, well, how motivated is he to get out of his current situation? She said, very motivated. And I said, tell you what, I want to create some training material that'll teach people just like him. A lot of my clients and customers who've never done a lot of this before, a lot of them are professionals. A lot of them might be doctors, but they might be service professionals in all kinds of different professions, but they didn't understand how to communicate, how to feel comfortable on camera, and they wanted to do that. And I said, I'd like to make some training videos. Maybe he'd be interested in being my guinea pig. Okay. And she said, well, let me talk to him. Bottom line is, a day later, I spoke with them, and she agreed, and I didn't know all this at the time, to loan him enough money. He was flat broke, to rent a car, come to San Diego, and spend 2 days with me in my studio to learn everything I know about all of this content material. So the way the story goes is, I get a knock on my door. That was on a Thursday. The next Tuesday, I hear a knock on my door. Open it up. There's newbie Mike standing outside. And I'm like, all right, how are you doing? Did you get a lot of sleep? And he goes, no, I've been driving all night. And he had like a energy drink in his hand. And I'm like, well, we'll see how this goes. So I took him out for a little breakfast, sat him down, and put together an agenda, a list of every skill I thought either someone who wanted to build a platform, create an online business needed or wanted to know, and then everything that I thought an employee or an employer would want their employee to know. And my goal was to train him on all these things over the next day or so, all right? So we came up with a list, walked into the studio, and the camera started rolling. So here's what happened next, okay? In 48 hours, I got him comfortable on camera. I'm going to show you exactly what I did with him in just a moment. I taught him client consulting, how to create a product, how to do social media marketing. I got him everywhere now. In other words, we shared his message online. He made a lead capture website. He captured leads, and he got a job making good money and bonuses. And he went from broke to having a career in 48 hours. Now, here's how the story changes a little bit. A few years ago, I was on stage and presenting, and I told the story for the very first time. And I went through that, and I noticed that everyone in the audience was really exciting. And I asked him, I said, how many people would like to do this right now? How many of you would like to spend 2 days in the studio and have me mentor them and teach them all of this stuff? And every hand went up. And then I thought, well, I'm going to try one more thing. Stand up if you would like to spend 2 days with me. And I said, the reason I want to do this is because I want you to experience social proof, because I believe these skills of learning how to be on camera, how to be on stage, how to present, how to sell and promote and market are the most valuable skills you or someone you know or care about could ever learn as well. Almost the whole audience stood up. And I said, it's not a trick. I'm just asking a question. So my question for you is right now in chat, if you'd like to spend that time and be mentored and learn these skills and learn how to very, very quickly influence and persuade and sell and create products, would you be interested in doing that too? So go ahead, raise your hand and say yes. Okay? So the bottom line is this. I made my offer at that point, which was a $2,497 offer. And here's what happened. We had something called a table rush. Now, I found one of my old table rush pictures right here, but I closed 82 sales that day at $2,497, which is $204,754. Now, the way that works in the world of presenting and speaking, what we call platform speaking, is you split. You give 50% of that to the event producer or promoter, and you keep 50%. What happened in that room is there were other people, their jaws dropped. They couldn't believe what happened. It was the first time anything like that had ever happened to me. I was sold on the idea of promoting and marketing and selling. It was the first time I'd ever done anything like that. But it changed my life. And again, I'm going to give you some of those strategies in just a moment. I'm going to actually give you the framework of what I've used and how I've compressed that and made it very easy as well. So I'm going to check in again with Mike Filsame. What's the response like?
Well, Mike, you've got about 150 yeses and yes, and
okay.
Awesome. Interested, yes. Sure, I would, yes. Thumbs up, Thumbs up, man. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Rocking. Okay. Rocking. All right. Great. That's fantastic. So let's keep on going here because I've got more great material where that came from. But this is a learnable skill. Okay. Influencing, persuading, learning how to be completely natural and authentic without being slimy or icky or salesy, even if you're totally terrified, even if you hate to sell, is within your reach. So, what is the $10 million secret? Well, first of all, every marketing problem, every problem for that matter, is a storytelling problem. It's a matter of communicating what is going on inside the viewer, the listener, the watcher's mind and reflecting it back to them. And also, you can solve any problem by telling a story, presenting a speech, writing a sales letter, or creating a book, or making a video of transformation and building a community of people invested in sharing and watching it grow, okay? Now, how does that relate to you? Well, again, watch what happened next because this is the important lesson. So first of all, everyone feels like newbie Mike at some point and is looking for transformation, opportunity, feedback, and a mentor or coach to take them to the promised land. Okay? We all feel that way. It's the nature of humanity. We're always in a state of some form of suffering, some sort of discontent. It's the nature of who and what we are. And we look for more because we know there's more. We are attached and connected to the divine. So, the process of something we call hero creation, as a result of this, I learned something. And this is the format. This is the structure. Write this down. So the process of what we call hero creation is starting it with hope. You came here today with some form of hope, and go ahead and type it in. What was it that you wanted to get, what you were here for? What is the outcome? What is the result? What is the desire you have? Type that in right now. It's going to help me continue to give you even more good content. What's that hope? What's that desire? What's the challenge you wish to overcome? Now, somewhere in some of the communications that you receive, you raised a hand and some message connected with you. And at some point, you've either gotten inspired or you're going to be inspired because I've got 7 mini case studies for you that are going to blow you away, okay? At some point, you're going to feel motivated. Now, what happened in that audience is people felt a sense of hope. They saw newbie Mike go through that process. They were inspired by what happened in just 48 hours, and they're motivated by the opportunity. Maybe I can do that. Maybe I can experience that too. And when I said, would you like to do that? Would you like to spend 2 days with me? Those hands raised up. Okay? And inside just making a decision, you can experience transformation, something that Frank Kern frequently calls results in advance. Okay? But then if you go through the program and experience it just like newbie Mike did, you'd experience a transformation just like him. And finally, transcendence occurs. What does transcendence mean? That means when you've got an audience, when you've got clients, when you've got customers, and you create a community that they can interact with and they can co-create, they are mutually invested in the results. And I'm going to show you the best example of how that manifested itself. And the greatest lesson I learned after cancer was really how to create a community of ravenous folks who are totally invested in each other's success. And that's this. We created a product several years ago. And when I wrote my first book, a lot of people said, hey, Mike, how'd you write that book? And can you show me how to do it? I ended up creating a program, and it evolved into something called Publish and Profit. As of right now, we've helped over 1,100 business owners become best-selling authors. How's that possible? Well, a very powerful strategy. Now, here's where things get interesting. One of our clients, now we've had clients as young as 5 years old, but one of them is Abby Richter, who wrote 4 #1 best-selling books in 3 months. And as I like to say, if a 9-year-old girl can do it, what's your excuse? Okay. Her parents are veterinarians, and she wrote stories, really simple stories about rescue pets. They're all of her pets. Well, she got featured in American Girl magazine. Now she's speaking, and her mom and her go on the road. She was just in Australia. She made $30,000 this last year speaking and presenting and signing her own books and talking about her experience as a best-selling author. Pretty impressive, right? If that doesn't inspire or maybe motivate you, I don't know what will. But then, on the other side of the spectrum, we've had clients in their 80s. One of them is 81-year young, Joni Wilson. She's going to be 82 in July. She's a 5-time best-selling author. She used to sing backup for Elvis in Vegas back in the day. Okay, she's a backup vocalist. But now she teaches people, and for years she was she taught singing lessons, okay? But when I met her, she was living with one of her best friends on her couch. She was going through bankruptcy and completely in despair. And we gave her a little bit of hope. She came to one of our events, It turned her on. She wrote some books, and then she became a book marketing consultant. Here's a check written out to her for $2,500. It was one of her first checks she got, taking advantage of her newfound transformation. All right? So again, another edge case. But here's what's important. Part of what we built is a community of people who write books, and they invest in each other's books and their success. And that has built this unbelievable community because everyone's invested in everyone else becoming a bestseller, coaching each other. But this time we're doing it again. This time with something even bigger than books. And I'll share that with you when we get towards the end of this presentation. So I'm going to give you one more story because you might be thinking, well, is this all about the money? No, it's not all about the money. You can transcend all of this. And if it'll work for a nonprofit, it'll work for you too. But this is how my wife, Vivian, became an expert and authority on Africa, running a nonprofit and raising over $30,000 in less than 90 days. So here's the quick backstory. This is my son, Zach, my wife, Vivian. We were just recently in New York together, and we took a picture. Right now, my son, Zach, who's 14, is 6'4". So he's considerably taller than me. I don't know why he's shrunk down here in this picture. And here's what happened. Shortly after Zach was born, we tried to have a couple more kids. We had 2 miscarriages. My wife took it very, very hard because she had always dreamed of having a family and having her Jewish family. She was raised Jewish. I was raised Catholic. And for her, she has no living relatives. Everyone was killed in the Holocaust. Okay, so that's also a big part of her background. But the other thing is she was horribly abused and molested as a child. Her father beat her and molested her, and she had a horrible backstory. And she's very connected to helping girls and preventing that from happening, both in the United States and worldwide. So one day in the middle of the night, she woke up and she said, Mike, I need to go to Africa. And I said, why Africa? And she said, because there's a Holocaust happening over there. A Holocaust completely destroyed my family. I'm not going to let it happen again. So my wife, a couple weeks later, is in Africa. And when she came back, something amazing had happened. So here's how the story goes. She sent me this photo. This is baby Christina. She had made her way to Uganda, and she was witnessing a group of Catholic nuns delivering babies by kerosene lamp. During the evening, one of the mothers died in childbirth. Baby Christina was left, and she said, what's going to happen to the baby? The nun said, most likely she'll be disposed of. And she said, well, I'm going to save this baby's life, but what do you need so this doesn't continue happening? And Sister Ernestine said to her, we need electricity. If we have electricity, we'll be able to refrigerate medicines. And if we can do that, we'll be recognized as a clinic. And the country of Uganda will at least support us. So she came home with a short little video, and she actually put together a little speech to help her raise some money. Okay? So just imagine right now, if you have some sort of a cause, something you believe in very, very strongly, what could you do right now that could make a huge difference? And I would assume that you're somehow connected to either a charity, a nonprofit, something that you want to make a huge difference, some sort of an impact in the world, or create a movement that will make a bigger difference, even outside of the business you have. What could you do right now? And that's what this is all about. So she took that little video, broadcast it online. At the time, we used Traffic Geyser to do this. Now you can use Facebook Live, YouTube Live. You can use anything to build and engage an audience. But she had a very compelling story. But what happened next is she went out to friends and family, and other people online saw this and donated money. And she ended up raising $30,000 in 90 days. She went back to that little village in Uganda, delivered a generator, and from there, things grew even further. First of all, this is baby Christina 2 years later. Not only was she alive, but she was thriving. And my wife had built a full hospital with an OR, a dental clinic, and started building schools all over the place in this community of 600,000. She prevented a Holocaust from happening there. There were people on their last legs going through AIDS, and they got their antiretroviral drugs and treatments to help them live. But what wound up happening is that created a movement. And if we fast forward, I'm going to play a short little clip of a video right now of just some of the things we saw on the ground. But then I'm going to wrap this up and tell you how you can make a difference as well and create a movement. And then we're going to get into the meat of the training. So here's that little clip. All right, I always get a little weepy when I watch that because I shot that video myself. And I will tell you right now, I believe we need more leadership and more people like my wife, but also peacemakers on this planet who are going to make a difference, but also creating more business and more opportunity. So here's how I want to bring this home is just imagine right now, if you had someone walk up to you and say, not only did you change my life, but you saved my life, or you saved my child's life. That's what this is all about. So this past year, my wife made it to the White House, the other White House, 3 times in 1 year, okay? She got a private audience with Michelle Obama. She became a part of, asked to join something called the Clinton Global Initiative. She was on their stage 2 times in 1 year. Jada Pinkett Smith came to receive an award at her event and gave her $50,000. The point is, having a nonprofit, being able to share your message, being able to tell a story more effectively can not only change the lives of hundreds of thousands of people, it can gain you access to an unbelievable audience of VIPs and CEOs and people who are normally untouchable. Now, here's my son. For his bar mitzvah project this year, he raised money and gave 100% of the money away to build a library in Uganda. And now she's gone out and she's bringing these same resources worldwide, including the United States. So the other thing she did is she went through one of her programs, this Publish and Profit I told you about. And there's an old story that goes, it's harder than hell to be a prophet in your own hometown. Just imagine being a prophet in your own home. But my wife wrote another book, became a bestseller, and it's all about how to raise money for a philanthropy, a nonprofit, a charity, or cause from stage. So now she's taking her message and she's able to amplify her message and teach other people to do what she does as well. So what I'm going to give you right now, get ready to write this down. I'm going to share with you the most powerful strategies to not only start a movement and turn 10 minutes into millions with the framework. I'm going to go through a series of mini case studies for you and overcome any challenges you may have, any fears you may have of actually being able to implement the resources you're about to get. So this is the framework. Now, first of all, I want to give credit where credit is due. My very good friend, Joe Polish, is the creator of the initial framework that we're starting out with here, okay? Something he calls the 10-minute talk. I've modified it. I based it on TED Talks, and what I've done is compressed everything I've ever learned about speaking, doing paid speaking, platform speaking, into a structure that can be repurposed and reused by anyone and expanded into a whole You Everywhere Now package. So again, get ready to write this down. First of all, there are 4 parts to a great talk. And remember, I'm starting with a 10-minute talk, but this can be expanded into a paid talk, a longer talk, a product, a book, anything. You start out with a hook, an intro, and a theme. And I'll explain what all these are in a moment. And remember, I'll give you a copy of the slides at the end of this presentation. That's the first part. It's 1 to 2 minutes long. Then your reason why, which is 1 to 2 minutes, followed by several breakthrough points. Those are about 5 to 6 minutes, okay? And then a call to action. It's 30 seconds to a minute. All together, mixed and matched, it's about 10 minutes total. So the breakdown. Part 1 is the hook, the intro, and the theme. Now this is, your simple goal is to grab attention. Remember, you got 2 seconds to grab someone's attention, 20 seconds hopefully to keep it, and hopefully then you'll get 2 minutes so someone will invest that 10 minutes and really want you, really desire what you have to share. So you're going to answer the question that's rolling around in everyone's mind all the time is, why should I care? You are here right now because something I said hooked and grabbed you. Okay. And then you're going to tell them what the results and benefits are. In other words, WIFM is what's in it for me. Answer that question right away. 30 seconds to a minute. Most people don't do this. Part 2 is your reason why. Why do you do what you do? Okay. Now, very often, the best way to create a connection is to share a trauma. Now, I've got all sorts of traumas. I've got a cancer trauma I shared with you. I've got the being raised in an environment I didn't really want to be in. I was raised a Catholic. I got all sorts of stuff. But I can hook an audience, and you can hook an audience with your story too. But it's your own transformation. Why are you doing what you do? How did you use what you do? And how did you get to where you are right now? And that can be told in a short period of time. It's also known as your mess to success message. Okay. And then part 3 are your 3 to 5 breakthrough points. What are those? Okay. These are myths you've been led to believe. I'm actually going to show you what my myths are and what your myths are in just a moment. Okay. And they can include client transformation stories. Okay. And you're showing people how to overcome objections that they have. In other words, by telling these stories, they're going to relate to it, and they're going to realize there's actually a place where they can experience a transformation too. And then finally, the call to action. Now, this is where you're going to give something away. It's your book. It's a strategy session. It's a free download, a tool, a diagnostic. Your goal is to get them interested in you. That's all you need to do at first, okay? Now, if you play, it's like playing a great song. People are afraid if they give it all away, they're never going to get someone back. The truth is, people listen to the same song over and over again. They come back and they watch their favorite movies again. They watch their same shows over and again. All you got to do is get them in a place where they feel that way about you. And most people try to pack everything they have because they think this is going to be the only time, coming from a scarcity point of view. Okay, that's the basic structure again. If you weren't able to write all this down, I'm going to give you the slide deck at the end of this presentation. You can model it. But what's important is this framework expands into a You Everywhere Now system. Again, you can use this to create your paid or your platform speech, a book, a product to serve, an automated marketing funnel. Turn it into your brand, a movement, or your legacy, something that can be there when you're not. So let's put this into action. I'm actually going to demonstrate this for you. I'm going to do something I call meta teaching. I'm going to show you the model, implement it for you, show you exactly how it works. And in the process, my goal is to overcome maybe some objections you might have, some reasons why you haven't been speaking or presenting. So every person that you're about to meet in here overcame their biggest fear and prepared a presentation in 1 to 7 days, most of them in 1 day, using this system. We call it the Speak and Profit framework, okay? And some had never spoken before. But let's go through their transformations together, shall we? So here's the fear number one. When I ask people, what is preventing you from getting up on stage? And they're like, look, I'm afraid I'm going to look stupid. I'm going to look silly. They're going to make fun of me. Some old trauma shows up or the audience won't get me. All right. Well, first thing to realize is you don't have to be an expert, authority, or have a tragic story to be a powerful speaker. You just need to relate, be passionate, and smile. So the best way to relate is to stop teaching and tell a story. Most people who are considered bad speakers, they just talk. And they talk at the screen, not with people. And as Robin Robbins, this is a great quote, as my mother would say, make your mess your message. All right. Now, we already talked about that. Now, through stories, we share passion, sadness, hardships, and joys, and we share meaning and purpose. We share a common ground that allows people to communicate, overcoming our defenses and our differences. And through stories, we understand ourselves better and find our commonality with others. But also, we compress time and we build instantaneous rapport and trust. That's what can happen inside of 10 minutes. So let's see what that looks like, because with that structure, the framework I gave you, you can draw this out of you very, very quickly. In less than a day, you can be speaking, presenting, and be completely comfortable on stage or on camera. So I'm going to introduce you to a woman. Her name is Tricia Nelson. Now, she came in and she went through this program that we've created. It's called the Speak and Profit program, where there's two different versions. There's one where we have a digital version where you can study at home, another one where you can actually come into the studio with us. Well, she came into the studio and she had quite a dark background story. And when she stood exactly where I am right now to present to an audience of about 20 people and myself and our team, she froze up completely and she didn't know what to say. And I said, you're not allowed to do that. You're on stage right now. So I want you to tell me your deepest, darkest, tragic story, something that's haunted you and caused you to be who you are and do what you do. And here's what she did.
Fatty Patty went to town, rolling her blubber up and down. First she went to the candy shop, then she bought a lollipop. That's the rhyme I made up as a child.
All right. Now, that is a little bit dark. Let me tell you the background, or you can see the picture of her right here. Tricia was a fat kid, okay? And I couldn't believe how much that hooked me. I sat here and I actually just started crying because somehow I just connected with her story. But I realized then she had a story that could get her on TV and completely own an audience. And she went to her darkest place, somewhere that was completely unnatural prior to this. But what it took is a system. It took a framework to draw that out of her. And it's something that's inside of us. And like I said, you don't have to have the deepest, darkest, most tragic thing. But most people forget why they do what they do. And I'm curious what yours is. If you have a deep, dark, tragic story, something that you know you haven't told before, but it would cause someone to connect. And if you connected with it, let me know in chat right now. But during one of her explanations, one of her stories, here's what she ended up teaching, because she goes through her own transformation and she talks now about people she's helping and supporting in her own business. And here's what it is.
The number one trait of the emotional eater is being a people pleaser. Okay, bar none. It is, I mean, we take the cake on this, so to speak. So being a people pleaser means that we say yes to everything. We take on things. No problem. I'll do it. Give it to me. I'll get it done. Right? Well, that seems like a good quality to have. You're pleasing lots of people, but not really, because you're not pleased. Because at the end of the day, you're tired, you're stressed out, you're burnt out, and nobody's really pleased to the extent that we want them to be, right?
All right. So from here, what happened is everyone in the audience gave her feedback. We've devised a scoring system. That's something that we've built based upon years of studying some of the best speeches that have ever been made. And what she got is instantaneous, immediate feedback that she could use to improve. Now remember, she just put this thing together just a couple days before she was standing here, and she was completely terrified. But here's one of the secrets to getting over that fear. It's when you're around a community that actually cares about you and understands you and is there to support you. And that overcomes the internal fear that you have as well. Well, here's an example of some of the feedback that she got, because that's part of what this program includes.
In fact, what I would consider doing is see if you can have a little girl sing that and say it and open up with that and say that was me. You know, if you say it or someone else says, I'd like to see how an audience would react, whether it's a recording or have it come back one more time. You could do a bounce back. I don't know what it's called in comedic terms, but there's comedians bounce back to a little thing. I've got a couple of those for you.
Okay.
But anyway, so powerful. It just, blam.
Now, the truth is, I was just before that, I was crying my eyeballs out. All right, you could tell it.
I could tell you were trying to compose yourself.
Yeah, I would have definitely struggled. So, but just imagine, this is what prevents so many people from having some courage and having it's just having someone give them some feedback and knowing that you're not going to be attacked. Once you get past that hump, and it doesn't matter if you're a super successful speaker or you're just starting out, you get past that hump and everything gets easier from there. It's just knowing everything's going to be okay. And that's what super accelerates your progress. It's compressing time with good, loving feedback. Okay, here's what ended up being Trisha's transformation. I've got a short one with Jeff as well.
I think the biggest benefit of Speak and Profit is that you're not just talking about speaking, you are speaking. You're crafting your talk from day one. You're figuring out what your message is and how to best express it. So you're already putting together a talk that you can take out to the world.
All right. So let me share with you number 2. This is fear number 2. I don't know what to say, or I have nothing to sell. This is what holds people back. And I've heard this over and over again. So many people are like, well, I'm not going to do this because this isn't ready. And nothing's ever just so. All right. Now, the time to start sharing your message is right now, like today. What prevents most people is, number 1, they don't have a structure. They don't have a framework to operate within, but then they're under the mistaken impression that, well, they don't have something that's going to happen next. So let's actually destroy that myth right now. So first of all, it doesn't take years to craft a compelling speech. There's a formula and a structure for a perfect 10-minute talk. I gave you at least the basics. Now, the best thing is you can build an entire system, a product, a service, and an offering around your speech. What we found is some of the people who are here and some of the people I've coached over the years is they have this aha experience. As soon as they finally get down to their raw reason why, and they start teaching what they've been doing, something solidifies and they have perfect clarity of vision by going through the process. And suddenly they know exactly what to do. So you can rethink your entire business, your career, life with just one talk and with feedback and an audience. So this is Melody Meyer, and the setup for her is she has been doing martial arts for a long time. Her backstory is she used to get beat up and she had a horrible relationship she was in, and we convinced her to tell her core backup story. But as it evolved, this is a part of what she ended up teaching in her little presentation. Let's watch that now.
It's not a secret that I am in martial arts. I love martial arts. It has been a big part of my life. But it was here in martial arts that I was able to develop a self-mastery system of which I could do the secret number 1, which is master your thoughts. You need to master your thoughts because it is your thoughts that turn into beliefs. It was just an idea, but now it's the truth. Okay? Thoughts turn into beliefs, beliefs turn into actions, and those actions turn into results.
What wound up happening here is Melody, as a result of just going through this process, after just one day, completely reshaped and rethought the way she's delivering her program and her product, and also who she's selling it to, and also how she can increase her prices considerably. She got that clarity of vision and message. So here's some of the feedback I was able to give her based upon that presentation. So then you can weed me through, because you'd own me emotionally, you brought me on the dip. Because remember, what I want is emotional amplitude. I want you to take me on a journey and compress time as fast as possible. And my ability to trust you happens if you take me from the lowest low to the highest high in the shortest period of time. I'm like, she's got my back. So what happens in business is we trust people we feel a connection to, and the more emotion we experience over a short period of time, it feels like our brains actually trick us into thinking we've known someone for weeks or months or years. That's why you can change lives in just 10 minutes. It's why the greatest speakers have figured that out. And like I said, there's a repeatable framework and a system that you can use. So here's one more message from Melody on what her experience was like.
None of it was prepared anyway. And but what was cool is that everything that we were learning in through the modules, and they were very succinct. That's what I liked. Like the modules were very like compressed and not like too long. That is like, oh, you get a nugget, a nugget, a nugget. And as I looked through my notes as I was preparing my talk, it was like, oh, this isn't that bad, because it was little precious nuggets instead of like pages and pages of do this and do this and do this and do this, right? So I really appreciated that I had a few points of which I could then try and incorporate into a brand new talk that I'd never done before.
All right, so my question for you right now is, which of these stories so far has either been most inspirational, or have you had a breakthrough, an aha, something you relate or connect to that maybe you hadn't realized before, or which of these people have you connected with their story the most? Okay, has it been Melody? Has it been Trisha? Okay, now here's another challenge. And again, my goal, and inside this, I'm actually using the framework to teach and show you the framework. What's important is most people have never been taught to just tell basic stories. Okay, there's nothing to remember. There's nothing to make up. There's stuff that's happened in your life. And what you maybe haven't had is a tool to pull that out of you. But here's another challenge we hear all the time is, I'll never get booked to speak. All right. Well, inside our course, we give you 14 ways to get speaking gigs and get booked. Here are just a few of them. One of them is if you're an author, if you've written a book, that's a perfect way. There's several strategies we teach to either mail your book or ship it out. But also going after what are called training versus speaking budgets. Very often organizations don't have speaking budgets, but they do have training budgets. They'll pay you to train. Also, getting listed with speakers bureaus. If you just search online for speakers bureaus, there are literally hundreds of them. Most of them let you list for free. Also, there are strategies to get your foot in the door with corporations that are constantly looking for fresh blood. And framing your talk so you can get your foot in the door is an important way. And also, getting media interviews and podcasts. We go through a variety of ways that you can position yourself to attract the media and actually get asked to come in and do podcasts. And then some of the best ways possible are associations, trade shows, and meetup groups. These are people who are already paying to belong to something. They're pre-qualified. They're ready to take action. Most people don't even think about going to ask to speak there. And then also belonging to and joining masterminds. There's usually businesses and people in there who are ready to hire you and ask you to come speak and present. So I'm going to get past fear number 3 right now, which is, oh, I don't know how to get booked. So John Cody is one of our clients. He went through one of our programs. He wrote a book. So in his book, the title of his book was, he used the phrase, powerful word-of-mouth advertising. Someone just searched for the word word-of-mouth advertising, gave him, connected with him on Facebook, and asked him to speak at their event. So while he was there, it wasn't a paid opportunity. He just went there and gave away his book. So if you're an author, but you don't have to be an author to use this exact same strategy. So he got up on stage, gave away his book, and he ended up getting doctors who were in the room as clients, and he closed consulting deals just from people walking up to them. When you're the expert, you're the authority, people want to do business with you. But he also saw an opportunity in medical tourism, something he knew nothing about while he was there. And he ended up starting a podcast just from that speaking opportunity, interviewing doctors and patients. Well, what happened next is not only did he close deals, he closed a $12,000 deal just by doing a free speaking opportunity. Okay, so that's one of the ways you make money. But his podcast launched #1 on launch day, and as a result of that, he was suddenly seen as an authority and expert in a field he had previously known nothing about. He got asked to be the keynote speaker just 8 months later, and while he was there, he released his new book, which were just transcripts of the interviews he had been doing. Okay, but more importantly, here's what happened. It started out with a free speech. 8 months later, the country of Belize had contacted him. This is a text message he just sent to me, and he says, the medical tourism deal in Belize has finally gotten the approval of the government prime minister, and we're about to get started on that. I've been doing book deals in the 15K range, medical tourism side at 30K. The whole point is, when you start to speak, opportunities show up all over the place for you. So let's go to fear number 4. I'm going to screw up. I'm a perfectionist. Okay. Now, the first one is perfect is the enemy of good. Voltaire says that. Now, I'm going to share with you a little story from Francine, who has her story about perfection and how she overcame it.
There's that little perfectionist in me that I don't want to perform unless it's going to be right. So that was the thing that I think made me a little more nervous than I thought I would be. It doesn't matter who you want to speak to, small crowd or big crowd. This product is the product you need. This is where you're learning not only what you need to do, but they really teach you how to do it.
Okay, so I'm going to take you on a little journey with Dr. Wayne Purnell. He's a really, really fun doctor, but he's always struggled with not only perfectionism, but also just telling his story. So here's you're gonna see his beginning, and it's imperfect. But part of that is being okay with being imperfect, because it's what makes you endearing and real to an audience. So that's a story you're telling yourself, and it ends up not working to your advantage if you allow that story to hold you back. Here's Wayne Purnell.
Hi, I'm Dr. Wayne Purnell. And today you're going to learn a few things about how pizza changed my life and how you can step in instead of stepping back. You're going to learn some failure paths and you're going to learn some success paths. You know, I've been a consultant for 37 years at this point, almost 4 decades. Some of my clients have included Schwab, 3Com, Whole Foods Market, AAA. I've been in Forbes magazine, I've been on morning television. And by the time I was 42, I had a lot of success behind me.
Okay. So what wound up happening that made a huge difference for Wayne is being able to tap into some of his greatest sadness, his greatest reason why, and be able to turn this back into a hook that really grabbed and caught the attention of the audience who's here right now. It's about getting feedback. That's what we need to get better. So what wound up happening is he was able to refine his story even more and also incorporate some props inside his speech.
Leaders fail when they lose their sense of wonder. And those of you that know me know that I carry a little guy around with me. This is Curious George, and he's one of the first things I see in the morning, and he sits at the boardroom table whenever I teach. And why? Because it's not just George, it's Curious George. And Curious George reminds me to stay curious. And here's why. When you're curious, you can't be in judgment. When you're in that sense of wonder, in that sense of curiosity, you can't be in judgment.
Okay, so ultimately, Wayne was able to incorporate some more audience-grabbing techniques that he was able to use as a result of getting this feedback. Okay, now here is how he overcame his fears.
Being able to unpack the box, being able to walk through course by course by course, or lesson by lesson by lesson. And then there's an opportunity for those of us who are going to be watching you remotely from whatever you post, right? That's going to be awesome because you're going to get feedback. Try this, try that. Because knowing what the format is a really good thing. And then practicing speaking to it is also a good thing. You know, perfection is about putting it out there so that you have something to perfect. Don't get locked in your head. Get it out there, get some feedback, have something to perfect. And that's what this is all about, because no matter what level any of us are at, we can always get better. You know what? For anybody watching, you're in the right place.
All right, next one. I'm scared of public speaking. This is holding a lot of people back. So I'm going to take you on a journey on how to overcome your fear of public speaking. Now, this is a great quote from Jerry, help me out. Seinfeld, there we go. Can't believe I forgot his name for a moment. Thank God for a live audience to help you out. So according to most studies, people's number one fear is public speaking. Number two is death. And said, sound right. This means to the average person, if you go to a funeral, you're better off in the casket than doing the eulogy. All right. So truer words never said. So this is Robin Scopus. Okay. She is in the business. It sounds really boring at first, but the way she does it is actually pretty interesting. She helps companies get through the approval process, like drug approval process, which can be very, very, there's a lot of regulations. God knows we don't need more regulations in this world. And she helps organizations, whether drug companies, get their hardware or their other products through the process with the fewest amount of delay, which ultimately saves everyone a lot of time and money. So here's her opener, and we'll go through what her transformation is and was and what her experience is too.
Hello, welcome to our talk today. Now, how many of you out there have a quality system in your company or have a supplier with a quality system in your company? If you are interested in spending less time and less resources on your compliance, then you are in the right place.
Okay, ultimately what we did with her is just helped her hone her message, and there were a couple big ahas for her. Her tendency was to get up there and teach and teach and teach, and to make a product or a speech relatable to an audience, even any audience. The secret is, of course, being able to tell stories. So again, she was able to get some more feedback that enabled her
Can you
to do a better job.
imagine what it's like cutting out 6 months from your product clearance process? How many products do you expect to sell in a month? Now multiply that times 6. That's how many extra you are making because you are able to streamline your process.
With her, as we helped her turn her normal teaching into relatable stories that enabled her, again, to connect on a deeper level, on an emotional level, even with engineers who ended up being the buyers and the decision makers. So here's an example of the feedback we were able to give Robin and what we give to people who go through the program. Now, I think the biggest thing that you could have in here would be stories. So in your misconception, if you told your stuff through a story, it's going to be a lot more effective. So we're working with a company, even if it's like a company that we kind of might know what it is. And I know you've got all kinds of agreements on what you can't do. I can say, let's just say it was a blah, blah, blah business. Okay. So even companies that are completely regulated, there's a way to share your personal story in a way that can relate to anyone. So here's the takeaway that Robin had.
Fear of speaking.
My background is always being scared of speaking. I've always been a wallflower. And so it was one of those things, I never wanted to get up in front of people. I never wanted to speak. But I knew taking my company to the next level, speaking was necessary.
And I was literally physically shaking in the car on the way here. It just the way they execute the information, it's brilliant. I love it. Makes it easier to learn that way too.
Nothing beats immersion. So here's another fear. I'm not funny, interesting, or comfortable on stage or on camera. This is one of the big promises I made. How to get completely comfortable on camera really, really quickly. In fact, I can erase your stage fear in as little as 15 minutes. I'm going to do it in even less time than that. So first of all, the key thing is I'm going to do this in 30 seconds, actually. So this is how to make an audience like or love you. The secret is very, very simple. Most people get up and are in a state of fear. So the first thing is to smile. Put your hand on your heart, which actually causes you to ground yourself, and breathe in and breathe out. You can do that with me if you want to right now. And what I like to say is imagine you're talking to or communicating with someone you deeply love. It could be a spouse, it could be a son or a daughter, it could be your pet for all that matters. But you look inside the camera or look out in an audience and connect with them. Because if you have your hand on your heart and you're breathing deeply, you can't help but be in a grounded, connected place. So the key thing is being enthusiastic and passionate. The reason why even bad speakers can get called back over and over again is because they're authentic and they're passionate, but also speaking from the heart. Telling stories forces you in a place where you're speaking from the heart. And what you'll find is if you just practice this a couple times, practice the breathing, practice the smiling, that'll actually help you connect on a deeper level and overcome fear you have. You're making this about them, not you, which is really what this is all about, is when you tell stories of transformation that represent your audience and you approach this as a servant, you're thinking about them. So if you're thinking about you, it's actually a selfish act. And in my opinion, nervousness is actually an act of selfishness. You're making this about you. If you make it about the audience, it's no longer about you, and that overcomes those fears. And I've found this to work over and over again, time and time again. And I've trained hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people, how to overcome their fear of being on camera and on stage. So how do you be funny and make an audience laugh, even if you're not a comedian? Well, first of all, you can tell self-deprecating stories. Okay. For example, I was a straight D student. I can't tell you how many people walk up to me and say, I was too. Or I was a bad altar boy with authority issues, which is true. Okay. I used to serve funerals so I didn't have to go to school. And the only time I was arrested is when I mooned a meter maid when I was 15 years old. I'm not kidding. I went to jail for mooning a meter maid, and that sucked. Okay. I didn't do that again. I'm going to tell you what. But I thought it was funny. Still think it's kind of funny. And every time I ever see a meter maid, guess what I think about? But it was not funny at the time. So another one is I taught myself how to write software when I was 14 because it was the only way out of Eagle Lake, Minnesota. And I hated being poor, cold, and waiting in line. Your little funny, self-deprecating stories are a way for an audience to connect with you. Another way is grabbing funny quotes. If you go to brainyquote.com, this is an easy resource. You can copy and paste and put quotes on in your presentation and use that to break things up a little bit. It's a really powerful strategy. And another one are funny pictures. Now you can find tons and tons of copyright-free photos on online on Google Images, for example. One of the easy ones, which you can definitely use, are book covers. Here's some good ones. So whenever we're teaching at Publish and Profit, for example, we've got still stripping. Now it's actually about quilting, but doesn't she look like a nice stripper, Eleanor Burns? Cute little, I don't know if you've ever been, I have never been to a strip club ever, but I've never met a stripper named Eleanor. I'll tell you that right now. Next, Pooh Gets Stuck. All right. Well, that's a good thing. All right, how about old tractors and the men who love them? How to keep your tractors happy and your family running. Okay. Well, we got Elmer there. Oh, I guess it's Roger Welch, but he does look like an Elmer. And then how about everything I know about woman I learned from my tractor? He came back, you know, he didn't have enough books out there. Got to crank out another one. And then how about a passion for donkeys? Well, you know what? I could go all kinds of places with that. It turns out, no, I'm not going to go there. All right, so how to avoid huge ships. I'll tell you what, get the F out of the way. It could be just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just a few words. Here's Everything I Want to Do is Illegal. That's a great book. Sometimes it's true. All right, so, but let's talk about fear number 6. This is Ophelia. So if one of your goals, and by the way, the point of all this is you don't need to be funny to be funny. We were able to go on that. You just make a little bit of commentary and you could just show it. People are going to arrive at their own conclusions. Okay. So you've got all the help you need. So you're going to meet Ophelia de la Mora. Okay. Now she is originally Mexican, but she lives in Canada now. And I'm going to let her story speak for itself. She's a wonderful lady. When I met her, I was speaking on stage at a friend's event, and I presented and I sold. And she walked up to me and she started telling me her cancer story, because I told my cancer story too. And she told me about this incredible journey she had been on, where she was diagnosed with cancer. She almost died. She'd gone through surgery, a divorce, and all kinds of stuff. I mean, really dark. And she had 2 kids. And she said, and I healed myself, and I want to tell my story. I know it's inside me. I don't know how to make it happen. So here's Ophelia.
Are you a mom? Do you have little ones? I want when you close your eyes and you think for a minute, then you imagine you have an appointment with the doctor and you are waiting for results. You don't know what you are expecting.
All right. So you can hear she's got a thick, strong accent, but she is passionate about getting her message out there. And here's a part where, again, there was not a dry eye in the house. And she has this beautiful accent. And again, it ended up creating this beautiful connection and part of her character. So part of what I want to share with you is no matter what language or what country you're from, what language you speak, using that as a reason to hold you back is it's a fear. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to an audience to share your message. So here's Ophelia again.
Look, this is how I look when I was after the treatments. And that's how even with that, I decided to enjoy my summers with my kids. Even I was bald and I look fancy with all that.
She was so real. And again, I couldn't even contain myself. I'm bawling my eyes out after she got done speaking. But her transformation was very, very remarkable. And here's just after presenting what her experience was. And you'll see how powerful this was for her, because she broke through the fear that had been holding her back for years.
My language was very, as you can tell, I have an accent that is not... and I always, that held me back all the time. Even though I knew, then I want to deliver this before I not be here, because I know that what I have to say can transform life in the way that it's been transforming me. This program opened the possibilities for me to just do that, to believe that I can do it. Then it's a process. Then I don't need to be perfect.
All right. Like I said, not a dry eye in the house. So let's bring this down to the money side. Some people say, I don't know how to make money on stage. I don't know how to make money speaking. And one of the important things is hopefully at this point, you've gone through this journey and you understand the structure, some of the reasons why. Maybe you've attached to and perhaps you've experienced some of these your own objections. And maybe you're at this point where you can say, okay, I can see how I can get through these. But then it comes down to, so where's the money? So there's all kinds of places you make money. The world opens up to you in ways you can't imagine when you have an audience around you. People find places to put you based on what they perceive. So as the old saying goes, show me the money. So I'm going to show you some ways and some places to make money. One of them is in lead capture, doing free speaking, for example. So I get booked all the time to speak, and I will actually do free speaking engagements sometimes as long as I can capture leads. Now, right now, I told you earlier that I will give you a copy of the slide presentation. So this is your first opportunity to get it right now. When you pull out your mobile phone and you text the word SPEAK to 619-457-6248, my team will also put that in chat and actually post that online. So when you do that right now, by the time our presentation is done, we're going to follow up and send you a copy of these slides. So that's one of the ways to do it. Now, for some reason, you're in a country where this text messaging may not work for you. Don't worry about it. We'll give you another way, but go ahead and do that right now. And you're also going to see specifically how we capture leads, because in our system, we show you how to capture leads from stage and build a database when you speak for free. And this will work like I'm doing right now on a webinar or webcast. It's the same thing. But one of our clients, for example, used this recently. He normally would capture 4 or 5 leads when he'd speak. The last time he spoke, he captured 121 at a time. Now for him, a deal's worth $1,500 to $35,000. So it's possible to close $10,000 or even $100,000 worth of business from one speech, even a free speech. So one more time, go ahead and text the word speech or speak to 619-457-6248 right now, and you'll see this work. But let's say, for example, you did a presentation inside of a room that might be with 50 or 100 people. In this case, let's say it's at an event where you captured 100 leads. Let's say you follow up later and 20% of them buy a product that you have for $297. Okay, that's 20 sales. And if you spoke once a month, that'd be about $6,000 a month or $71,000 per year. And I'm talking, this is low end. This is getting started out numbers. But let's say, for example, you had a bigger ticket product, maybe $1,500. You had those same 100 leads, and you closed 10% of them. That'd be 10 sales. Well, that'd be $15,000 a month or $180,000 a year. Okay, that's looking a little bit better, right? Well, let's think about paid speaking for a little while. In our system, our goal is to help you get or close a $5,000 or $10,000 paid speaking deal. So let's just say you got 2 gigs per year at $10,000. Well, that'd be $20,000. Now, I'm going to tell you this not to brag, but just to illustrate what's possible. I just booked a $130,000 speaking gig, okay? Now, I'm the first one to say that doesn't happen too often, and I've been doing this for a little while. But again, you'd be amazed. Once you get the ball rolling, people start connecting with you and communicating with you and asking you to do things. Now, platform speaking is when you speak and you sell. So it could be taking a presentation, maybe like what I'm doing. And again, there's a system, there's a process for doing this. So let's say, for example, you had 50 people in an audience. 20% of them decide to invest in your program. 10 sales at $497, that'd be $4,000, it'd be $5,000. Not too bad for an hour-long speaking gig. So if you did just 5 speaking gigs per year, that's an extra $25,000 to you, okay? So the other one is, of course, doing this with webinars, webcasts, masterclasses like the one you're in right now with us. Another idea is escalation. Okay, this is a business model where maybe you're selling coaching or consulting or advising, maybe closing 1 gig per month. This can come from doing free speaking gigs, for example. That could be an extra $60,000 a year. Or if you're consulting 2 consulting gigs per year at $10,000, another $20,000, all right? Or masterminds, coaching programs, big ticket programs. The whole idea is once you start speaking, you can adapt your speech into books, into products, into other coaches, mechanisms that you make money with. So the 4 ways to make money speaking, number 1 is get paid checks. That's paid speaking, selling products or your services, selling coaching, consulting, or advising, and finally, selling books as well. Now, believe it or not, just selling books is a fantastic way because from there, you can sell them your other products and services as well. Okay, so here's the last case study. This is Francine Tone, who is an attorney, and we'll go on her journey and what she learned in going through this program. Okay, this is about making money. Now, the way Francine makes money right now is she speaks to legal organizations and associations. So here's her.
Hi, so today I want to talk about how legal smarts will save your business. So you like my shark? Do you imagine I'm a lawyer? I am a lawyer. But legal smarts will also grow your business. But you can't have illusions and you can't pretend if you want to grow your business. You can't pretend about anything, especially the legal stuff.
All right. So after she went through her process, again, we gave her some feedback. Now, one of the things that we do with the digital program is we actually go through, and this is done online. So we're providing feedback through our community. But in this case, again, it happened live. And then you're really good about, now I want you to write this down. Doing the embedded commands is always effective. And there were 2 areas, 2 times when I felt the energy in the room shift, and also the rapport increased, because one of the things I was grading you on is your rapport with the audience. I'm like, well, I don't know what kind of rapport, you got great camera rapport. I'm just curious what was happening here. But what won people is you said, I'm right, damn it. You added that, and I could hear the chuckles. The second time is, don't have partners. It's sort of like a command, but you said it in sort of an aw shucks sort of way, and it was good. It was really good. So a big part of speaking is being able to connect with who you really are, your authentic self, and that's actually what attracts people to you. It makes you more likable and makes people want to buy from you. So here's what Francine learned from this experience.
Go find speaking engagements, get booked, and don't worry about it, and just go out and do it. They put the words in your mouth practically. They put the money in your hand practically if you just do what they say. There is no product out there that teaches you the how the way this one does.
All right. So here's where we get to the point, and I'm going to ask for your permission here, and that is an opportunity. Can I make you a star, and can I share your success story to my audience of 200,000 people in our social network? So what I'd like to show you right now is the system we've developed and guide you through what we can do together and help you craft your signature talk that you can use and grow into your You Everywhere Now platform. And what this is a program that we've created. It's called Speak and Profit. Now, there are two versions of this. I'll explain it to you in step-by-step fashion. But again, it encapsulates all the knowledge, all the experience, and it is very different from anything you may have ever seen before because it's so interactive. So what do you get when you sign up for this program? Well, first of all, we're going to talk about the digital system. It's everything you need to make money as a paid or a platform speaker, and you can access this thing right away, on demand, anytime. Okay? And it's an opportunity to learn by example because as you saw some of these little examples here, we started out with 18 people in our studio. We wanted to guide them through the process. So instead of learning by just listening to someone talking at you, you actually get to see other people go through the experience. You get to watch 10-minute talks and get professional feedback from myself and our team. And this covers every imaginable business and most likely your business too. Now, these are short, easy training videos that prepare you and your talk so you can build, engage, and monetize an audience or create a movement of your own. Okay, so we break this down into very, very easy components. First of all, how to build your speaking platform from the ground up and how to pack your schedule full and actually start speaking now, again, whether it's free or paid or platform speaking gigs. Next, how you can create a sizzle reel. It's a way to attract people to want to work with you. And also, if you are an author, how to use a book to open the door to actually get you speaking gigs. And if you aren't an author, we actually talk about how you can turn your signature speech into a book. And then how to craft the perfect speech and get the entire framework. So we give you a fill-in-the-blanks template you can use right now. And as I had mentioned earlier, we had some people who had never spoken before and in under a day had put together their 10-minute talk. Now, what's great about this is it's something you can sculpt over and over again. And we go through how to look and sound great on stage or on camera too. And then we give you beautiful presentation templates like the one you're seeing right now. You can flow your content into them. And we give you the guidelines so you're going to look like a total pro. There's nothing to be afraid of. We give you 5 ready-made slide templates in Keynote for the Macintosh and PowerPoint formats. Then we teach you step-by-step how to get paid speaking gigs, speak and sell, and how to sell consulting, coaching, or close big deals, and also how to sell books. And what this means is you're going to go through this program, and in less than 3 days, you can go out there. Some people go through it in as little as a day, and they know exactly what they can do so that you can close more deals, you can attract an audience, you can get more qualified customers to want to do business with you. And more importantly, you can close more deals faster. You can get 5 deals or 10 deals instead of just 1 at a time. Okay. And then I'm going to reveal the best pitch structure I've ever used. I actually deconstruct my most successful presentations for you. You can understand the psychology, the language, and the wording and adapt that into your own business. What that means for you is it's going to save you a considerable amount of time, the years it took for me to figure that out. How to capture leads from stage. We show you our own systems. We give you access to the tools and also how much to charge, whether it's for speaking or for your products and services online. Now, I have some awesome bonuses for you too, so get ready because in just a moment, we're going to show the order button and allow you to take advantage of these, and some of them are limited. So first of all, we guide you through how to get promoted, okay, and how to promote yourself. Next is how to build a list, both on stage and off stage as well. Because one of the most important things is, of course, to build an audience you can stay in touch with over and over again. Next, how to get clients online, not just clients, but how to book speaking gigs as well, and how to use Facebook to do that. So we also go through some of our biggest sales days that we've had, both online and on stage, so that you can model it yourself. And then how to build and engage an online audience. Now, one of the most powerful things about speaking and presenting is you get to meet great people, but if you can bring them into your environments, you're not on someone else's stage, Well, now you can build that and you can grow a financial connection with them. They're going to want to do business with you over and over again. And then we give you checklists, speaking agreements, forms, and templates. You don't have to build these things from scratch. It's taken me years to put these things together and build a library. So we're saving you an enormous amount of time. Everything you need to build a speaking business, you can grow your business faster and more profitably. Okay? How to look great on stage and camera and eliminate your fear of public speaking. I gave you a snapshot of that. We go a little bit deeper. Finally, all this material is put in a variety of formats. Now, I like to read my material and I like to watch video. You might like to listen to it. So if you want to listen to the audio versions of the trainings, fine, you can take us with you. If you want to watch it on your phone or your tablet, fine. If you want to read it or you want to print it out, that's great too. Everything we teach is in multiple formats so you can learn at your own pace. Now, a special bonus I included is I put my wife in the system as well, Vivian Glick. So if you want to know how to raise money for your philanthropy or someone else's nonprofit or charity, we're going to show you how you can use speaking to grow a nonprofit or a charity. But also, it's a fantastic way to meet and connect with celebrities and CEOs and VIPs and have more impact worldwide. And one important thing is when people are supporting a foundation or a nonprofit, they spend more money with you. And then we include monthly live Facebook coaching. That's where you're going to get feedback from myself and also the community as well. So we have a private Facebook community you have instant access to today when you register. And that means you can get in here, you can start posting your speeches and getting feedback from us so you get better and better. And that's something that, to the best of my knowledge, no one else has. So, and inside that, we talk about lead generation, follow-up. We cover all sorts of additional training concepts and ideas that will help you build, engage, and grow and monetize an audience. These are just some of the ideas and topics we'll be covering. So that's the digital system. What I can tell you is the training, if you've gone through other trainings in the past, other speaker training, you know it can vary in price, but what makes this unique and very, very different is the fact that you're getting direct feedback from us. So the total value of this is well over $10,000. It's available right now for just $19.97. We're making this available. There's an order button that's going to show up. So you're going to get a discount today for joining us. And we also have a 3-pay option for you as well. So you can get started for as little as $727. Gain access to the entire Speak and Profit system in the program. So that's the main program, but I also have something else really, really valuable for you too. And this is a bonus, okay? So the first 20 people who join us today, the first 20 are guaranteed. And what that means is you go through the program, you create your video. I am going to give you direct feedback, just like the folks who are here live in the audience. Now, just as a point of reference, I charge $5,000 per hour, $30,000 per day. I am going to review your speech and post feedback, and we're also going to post your speech in the Facebook community so you can get feedback from the other community members as well. So you're getting exposure, you're getting promoted, you're gaining an audience, and you're going to also get embedded in the program like the other people who are here at the live event. That's a huge bonus. And again, to the best of my knowledge, no one else is doing this. So we're giving you exposure. We're giving you an audience. We're giving you feedback. And the countdown timer is started right now. So you've got 25 minutes right now to get inside here and be one of the first 20 who are guaranteed to be inside this program. So at this point, I'd like to take and answer some of your questions and allow you to get inside the program. You can click the link, you can order the program, and also at the bottom of the page is where you can download the slide presentation so you can learn more about the program and the product and get all your questions answered and see everything that's inside. Now, there's also a phone number if you want to talk to Nicole or someone on my team right now who can answer your questions and help you build and monetize and grow your speaking audience and your platform. Well, we're here to support you. So let's begin with a few questions. Mike Filsame, and go ahead, click that order button right now. We'd love to have you in the program. Mike.
Okay, Mike. So we have one question right now. So we're seeding some questions. So the questions, Dan says, it's kind of like he needs a nice little push. I have so many creative ideas, but overwhelmed by what to focus on all these skills on that I actually get me the financial results. I'm currently drowning in ideas. I need action, help.
All right, great. That's actually a really, really good question. And it's something that we saw from the people who went through the program. And this is something, there's a few common mistakes newbies make. One of them is they think that they have to try to teach and pack everything into one thing all at once. The beauty of the 10-minute structure is it's something you can sit down, you can flow one primary idea and have one outcome inside here. So we focus on helping you build an audience that will help you build a platform and make money, and also weed through all these other ideas. And again, most people try to pack too many ideas into one thing. So if you look at that structure and you start watching the videos, you're going to see step-by-step examples. You're going to see the 18 people who went through the program, relate to them. So watch their talk, then listen to the feedback because it's not edited, and you're going to actually learn by example. So what happens, and this is why a group training environment like this is so powerful, is you're learning with another group. You're seeing that go through, and you're going to see how I refine, how I get people absolutely focused. And again, the nature of the structure and the format is going to alleviate those challenges. And then, of course, we've got the monthly training as well inside Facebook. That's done with Facebook Live. It's an opportunity to have your direct questions answered. And again, you can submit your speech to me, and I'll give you some clarifying ideas as well. So that's why you want to get in here and be one of the first 20 people who jump inside the program right now. What's the next question, Mike?
Nicole has some questions lined up for you, Mike.
All right, Nicole Dauphiné, I'm ready for you.
Okay, great information, Mike. So James called in and he asked, what if I already have a speech or a talk? What
Great.
if I've already got one?
All right, so what I like to say to people as well is that speech making you as much money as you know it can or it should, and if it isn't, well, then you definitely want our system and you want to flow it into our framework, and you're going to not only get feedback, but we're also, and think about it, when can you get access to an audience who's going to give you feedback? Because we have a scoring system that's built into the program. So what will happen is you'll be able to upload your speech, record it, get feedback from the community, and feedback from me as well. And you're actually going to see these scores. So we're going to give you a point score. And just remember, this isn't coming from a place of judgment. It comes from a place of love and support. And that's number one. The other thing is you're going to get that additional exposure from an audience. We find that people who come to our events end up doing business with each other. They create long-standing relationships, and people in our community just love each other and love to support each other as well. So no problem. Start with what you have and refine it, and that's a great question. Love that. All right, what's another one?
Okay, so quite a few questions about this. What if I don't have the dark story, Mike? What if I need to turn something technical into emotional?
Great.
Yeah.
So one of the frameworks we give you is, first of all, you don't need a dark story, okay? And again, sometimes there is a trauma. And like I had a client once who told me a story about how he was raped when he was 8 years old, and he's trying to incorporate that into his medical story. And I'm like, you know what? It's too heavy, dude. It's just too heavy. So we pushed that aside and we focused on something that's really for the audience. So the most important thing is the process, the structure, the framework guides you through that. What we do focus you on is being able to tell stories that are going to relate to your ideal customer. So again, what's great is when you go through the program, you're going to see the transformations that are happening when you listen to speeches. You're going to watch the comments that come back. And when you see the transformations that happen in other people, I guarantee you're going to like say, okay, those 3 related directly to me. 5 more were similar. And that's going to help tune your presentation style. So again, what I can assure you is there are people just like you who've gone through the program, and as more people join Speak and Profit, this is going to just start creating a movement, a community that's going to support each other even more. All right? Next one.
Okay, and then a lot of people, Mike, have specifics about the in-person live event versus the digital. Can you explain a little bit?
I sure will. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the difference between the digital and the live. And you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to do 2 things for you. I will talk about the live event because when you place your order for the digital version, there's an opportunity to join the live event too. And what happens is the live event, and right now we take a maximum of 20 people. And as of right now, I know we've got more than half of the seats are already full for that, for the next event. And details on that are on that page. Okay, so here's what happens. The digital program allows you to access all the training at any time, anywhere, and on any device, and get the feedback and get the support like I promised. You're going to get promoted. You're going to get inside the system, 100% digital. Now, if you choose to upgrade to the physical live event, it's a $29.97 upgrade. So the entire price is $49.97 for both. That would be the physical live event. That's an opportunity to be one of 20 people, get direct personalized feedback, come into our studio, present exactly where I'm standing right now, and get feedback from an audience, but also myself, and walk away with a recording of your speech. And of course, you have the great advantage of being able to speak and present on camera, to work on your presentation, get feedback, building it and creating it face-to-face in this group environment. So it's a faster, more accelerated process. So if your goal is to go through and want to have a signature talk or refine one you already have in just 3 days and walk away with the video with more personalized attention, well, then you want to come here to the studio. And again, it's just a $29.97 upgrade when you join the primary program here. It's a screaming bargain. And again, it's limited to a maximum of 20 people. Right now, more than half of those are full. So make sure you just, again, click on that button, get inside the program right now. And I already know we've got a few people who've joined us. We've got, oh, this is great. So Josh from Cardiff joined us. We got Dana from Vancouver, British Columbia. We got Darcy from West Palm, Florida. We got Ozioma from Newburgh, New York. Thank you. We got Jim from Carlsbad. We got Satori from Los Angeles joined us. We got Michelle from Pasadena, California. We got JR from Minnesota, and more are coming in. So thank you already for joining. That means that those first 20 are going away right now. And we've got some more people. So thank you for that. And I also want to tell you a little bit about our slides. So again, if you haven't already done this, go ahead and text SPEAK to this phone number, 619-457-6248. Get a copy of these slides. And I do want to just tell you a little bit. So if you're thinking about, okay, so what's the difference between this and any other training? And then we're also going to take some questions from our studio audience that's here with us as well. So the top 10 ways to decide if a speaker training program is right for you. Well, the first one is make sure that the training is all about you, not the speaker trainer who's doing the event. And look, I've been to events like this. You've been to events like this. You find out that that event, you get in there, it's all about them. And it's not about you walking away with your talk done, as in done. So whether you're going through the program digitally with us and you're getting online feedback, or you come to the physical live event here in our studio, we make this all about you every step of the way. That reminds me of the other thing. You've been at some events, you're going to spend the time in the program or in the live event learning and implementing instead of just getting pumped up. And you and I know what this is like. You go to some of these events and it's just a bunch of people jumping up and down and talking about how great it'll be to speak someday, and you walk away, nothing's done, right? Okay, not with us. This is all about taking action. So by the way, get inside here, and we've got a limited number again where I'm actually providing feedback. So click on that orange button and get inside the program right now. Next is the confidence. So you're on stage and camera confident in a day. Whether you're at the live event or you're watching us live, our goal is for you to feel like, I can do this. I know what it takes, and have the courage and the confidence to take action. Okay? And then when you finish the training or the event, your speech is done and you've received feedback and you're ready to get booked. That, again, is our goal. This is a shortcut process. We're compressing time for you. Again, instead of dreaming about it and thinking about it or having a speech that isn't working for you, think about it. When's the last time you ever heard of a community that's committed to helping you build and grow your platform? Okay? And by the way, who is in chat right now who wants to take action and come inside here, or as already? So if you're already in, say, I'm in chat, okay? Next one is, think about it. When's the last time you heard of a program where you're actually being featured and promoted inside the program? Okay? That's what's going on right here, all right? We're going to promote you. We're going to position you inside the program. And let's face it, with all of our programs, we've got a really high success ratio, okay? It's in our best interest to continue that success. It's also community. You're getting exposure inside a community of complementary, like-minded, abundance-minded business owners like you. So if you want to work with people who are there to support you, give you excellent feedback, help you find places to get more business and get more gigs, it's our community. We've done it again with Publish and Profit. We're doing it with Speak and Profit. And also referrals. So you're joining these entrepreneurs who refer business and speaking gigs and opportunity and give you that feedback on your talk. And the efficiency. So remember what I mentioned earlier. This is a you everywhere now strategy. We show you how to take your talk, turn it into a best-selling book, a product, a TED Talk, a paid speech, a platform speech, okay? Repurpose, reuse, and turn that into an advertising tool and a brand you can use over and over again. And then we give you the resources to get your speech, get media attention, TV, radio, and podcast interviews. We've got modules that get you thinking about how you're actually going to use that speech. Because guess what? The same questions, the same content can be repurposed over and over again. And like I said, your speech gets reviewed and you get feedback. That's unlike anywhere else. And what matters most is you're going to gain courage, confidence, commitment, and a community of supportive people who are invested in your success. So where else can you get that? So again, right now, I know we've got a limited number of people. We've got some more people just joined us. We got Melissa from Fort Worth, Texas joined us. We have Beverly from Noblesville, Indiana. Brendan from Camarillo. She just did an upgrade. Thank you. That means you're going to be coming to the live event. We got Nitkin. Okay. And you have a question. So thank you for joining us. So that means I know we're filling up fast with the first 20 in the bonuses, but Mike or Nicole, what other questions do we have?
Actually, there's 4 left according to the 16 that
4?
I'm counting.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so just to clarify quick, Mike, because it's blowing up the chat, we want to get that distraction out of the way. People are saying, if I'm out of the country and I'm texting and it's not working, how can I get the slides?
Fantastic. So to get the slides, click on the orange button, scroll to the bottom of the page. There's a link at the bottom of the page that says download slides here. Okay, so you can go that. There is a button at the very bottom. It's a blue button that says click here to download the presentation slides. That's right on that page. That way you can look at the offer, the opportunity, and take advantage of that. Great question. Okay. What other questions?
Just click that add to cart button. There's still 4 more to get the bonus. We're still going to be here for about another 15 minutes doing the Q&A. Not sure if the bonuses will last by then. But again, to get the slides, click the button. Remember, that's going to open up in a new window. There's no video on that page, so you don't have to worry about a distraction. So the best thing to do, click that button now. It'll open a new window. You can review that now or later. And Mike made the checkout process take only about 2 minutes, so you can check out, get access to one of these bonuses, and still be here to get some more of these questions that Nicole and I are going to get over to Mike right now.
Fantastic. So, Nicole, you got another question for us? And anyone in the audience, if you got one, raise your hand and we'll put you on camera as well.
Well, I do, Mike. For those 20 that get the awesome bonus, they're asking, what does it mean to actually be featured in the program? Okay, great. So awesome question. I'll stand over here while Mike is chatting. So the answer to that is, first of all, we give you a form so I can get notified when you've got your speech and you want to get it reviewed. I'm going to give you feedback, and what I always recommend is that you update your speech. So you can record it with nothing more than a mobile phone, and we teach you and show you exactly how to do that. It can be super simple, so you get the feedback. Next, because you get to make an offer at the end for like a free giveaway or a book, we're going to promote you in our Facebook community, our group, and actually load you in the product. So that means everyone who goes inside this program are going to be able to watch it and see you as well. Now, I will tell you that we are planning on some additional promotions as well. Now, the grading criteria is this. We are actually doing a newsletter and promoting, and so we feature some of our best speeches. So I will be featuring some of the best speeches and implementers and success stories about how you end up using your speech to go out and get and close deals, and you get exposure to our entire database as well. So I'll announce much of that, but the promise I'll give you is as long as you follow the system, create a talk, you're going to get promoted inside the private Speak and Profit Facebook community and inside the product to everyone who's got the program. And then from there's some other opportunities where I'll give you more exposure. Again, my goal is to tell your story, your transformational story, just like I do with Newbie Mike. It's your opportunity to be Newbie Mike. Next question.
Nitkin says, I fear selling from stage. Will this program help?
Okay, great. Well, Nitkin, the answer is absolutely. So inside the program, we show you how to do paid speaking, platform speaking, how to overcome your fears, how to structure your talk and your offer in a way that feels natural for you and completely authentic. So you don't have to become salesy. You don't have to become something you aren't. But by adopting and using our framework and our structure, it's going to make you a more effective presenter and a more effective salesperson as well, and follow up too. So the answer is absolutely yes. That's a huge part of what this program is. And remember, we've got ongoing monthly coaching and an opportunity to get that feedback. So if it's not effective, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you with love. Next one.
Mike, I've got one here. Raul asked how much time, everybody's worried about, everybody's busy and time compression is important. How much time do I really need to finish the course?
Okay, so there is, if you want to get through the course, you can actually get through all of it in under 2 days, okay? Now, does that mean you have to go through all of it in order to be effective? No. Okay, we had people who were just here and in the first day, they were already crafting their talk. So what I would do is I would start by watching the framework that we give you and use that. And we give you a template to insert your speech into, and then watch the examples. Click around, watch they're 10-minute talks with less than 10-minute feedback segments. So everything we did is in tiny bite-sized nuggets. This is not like sit around and watch hours and hours and hours of content. I wanted to make this for the short attention span ADHD entrepreneur who doesn't have a lot of time, just like you and just like me. And again, you can take us with you. You can watch, listen, or read us from your mobile phone if you want to, because you have instant access to the digital system. Now, if you really want to put your learning in hyperdrive, you can take the added option of coming to the studio here and experiencing this in 3 days, knowing you're going to walk away with that personalized attention, coaching. You're going to present where I'm standing right now. You're going to be able to speak to the camera. You're going to get direct feedback and walk out of here with a refined presentation that looks beautiful. And you can even use that. You can send it out to go out and get and close speaking gigs. So again, there's 2 options, whichever one works best for you. But no matter what, you get the digital version, whether you're coming here live, and you can use the digital one as well. But what's important is we do have a limited number of those bonuses, and I know they're running out right now. And also, remember, you get all the scripting step by step. We give you everything word for word on everything you need to talk to in order to book gigs with, let's say, a meeting planner or to sell products, all the forms, all the agreements, everything you need. So for example, when a meeting planner asks you what your fee is, you have exactly what you need to say to get maximum value for every talk. We teach you how to negotiate and get and close deals, okay? How to get on stages. And then from there, we also teach you how to speak and how to present and how to sell. Next one, Mike Filsain.
Mike, I just want to let you know, I would buy the product just for the done-for-you templates. Having the order forms, a pre-done, made to sell at the back of an event, you really can't put too much on that. Because I've even spoken at your events, how to do an order form. I've left things out like the CVC code. I've left things out, just logical things, either the email or these things that I've had a complete order and I couldn't process it by the time I got back home. Just ended up taking some of your templates. But knowing your slide templates, your everything done for you, that's 90% of the course right there. And then from there, it's fill in your passion, fill in what you know, and just put it into all these different things. I think that's worth the price of admission alone right there.
Well, thank you. And I'll tell you another part of this that is also equally, if not more important, is you could spend years or weeks or months of time spinning your wheels and getting confused, and also just going down the line of spending time on stuff that just isn't going to pay off. So that's why, again, we focus on something that's absolutely doable. 10 minutes is doable. We give you a defined structure, and we make it really, really, really simple to do. Step by step, ABC, 1, 2, 3, fill in the blanks, and a way to build the business. And like I said, when I went through like the top 10 reasons you want to do this, unlike any other program, I'm there with you holding your hand, and the community is as well, giving you the courage and the confidence. And, I've got a quote that just popped up in chat here. I'll read it to you. It says, Susan says, Mike Koenigs is at it again, creating another awesome product that you, won't even think two times about investing in it. So thank you for that. Good, Susan. I appreciate that. Here's something from Chris. Chris says, my wife hated sewing, so when she got to that part of her talks, her energy, her voice quality changed, and this program helped her craft her clothes so she feels great about it. Result, she's constantly a top producer at events around the country. So that was a great story as well. Thank you for that. All right. So what other questions do we have that are coming in right now? And again, get in there before the bonuses run out. And if we have anyone in the audience that has a question, I want to invite you to stand up and move over to Nicole and ask it if you'd like.
A couple of questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mike. One, just a quick shout out. Somebody saying what CMS is used for that text messaging to track. If you want to give that your secret.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're asking about the tool right now that I was running, which is that little doodad right here. When I say you can actually get our sales deck, our sales presentation. Well, I'll bring it up in a moment, but here's all it is. We're using a system. It's called Fix Your Funnel. It's an add-on for Infusionsoft. We also give you access to another tool that we use. So what's important is we give you a variety of different tools, and we also give you templates to do that. Like the graphic that you saw that I was using with the phone on it, for example, I give you about a dozen lead capture, stage capture templates you can just drop right into your presentation. So you don't have to hire a designer. Again, the bonuses and the tools and resources we have that we give you so you can get and close deals is really unprecedented. Again, we've thought of everything for you so you don't have to think about it.
All right, next question. This is from Tracy. Somehow she got in there as K, but we know that she's Tracy knows. Mike, you know, I'm the LinkedIn girl. I have gotten speaking engagements and media attention already, but what I want to know is how to ramp it up to paid and high-end engagements. Does this cover any of that as it relates to social media?
Okay. Good. Tracy, awesome. And I know Tracy, she's incredible. She is really a great LinkedIn expert. So the answer to that is absolutely yes. But also remember, we're doing our monthly coaching. So you can show up for monthly coaching. You can ask any question you have, and I will help answer something that might not be covered in the program. Think of this as we're sculpting this program based upon the desires, the needs, and what your specific use is. So if something's not in there, you just ask. You know, I'm in the community all the time, and that's what this is about. So with regards to ramping it up, what I assure you is you're going to learn a variety of different language patterns, for example. We give you the script. We give you the templates. We show you step by step. And I guarantee you're going to find a way to leverage, let's say, grabbing a new deal or how to get your foot in the door somewhere and to book a speaking gig that maybe you haven't tried before, or how to negotiate a higher price, or maybe to get paid more and negotiate a higher percentage if you do sell on stage. Okay? So fantastic. So here's what I will tell you. I know we are running out of the first batch of bonuses, which is the 20 opportunities to actually get direct feedback from me and also get promoted as well. So remember, click on that orange button, look through the offer. You can get started right now for as little as $727, or there's the single pay. There's also the option to come to the studio here and do training with me and my team and actually walk away with a recording and be done in 3 days. All right. And right now, there is a limited number of both of those. So I can only invest a certain amount of time on doing offer reviews and to get you inside this program and give you all these special bonuses. So Mike, you have anything else that popped up?
Yeah, so TR says, and I think this is probably, you have a telephone number on your order page, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so TR asks, I am 100% new to all this, and I wanted to write a best-selling book as a business consultant, so I wanted to sign up for a Publish and Profit program. I feel it is best for me to take that program first and then take this one. What are your thoughts? Is that something they should call and talk to somebody?
Sure.
There?
Yeah. One of the things is you could pick up the phone. You can call up Nicole right now. That phone number is on the page. So you can place a call. So if you have some specific questions about the order to do a program in, totally legit. Now, here's what I will tell you. This could be either or do the package, do Publish and Profit, do Speak and Profit simultaneously, because what we've found are you can either start with your speech and turn that into a book, and this gets you very focused on your message, your market, and what your outcome is, okay? And it's 10 minutes, all right? And you can craft that in a short period of time. It's my opinion that the exact same message, but expanded, becomes your book. I like the idea of having a book that is also my speech, that is also my product, and frankly, that's what I do with my products, okay? So we teach you this platform, and this is part of the whole You Everywhere Now system. So I'd have to know a little bit more about your business, and that might be a reason for you to ask a question or call, but no matter what, I'd say get in here right now. I'd just say don't hesitate. My recommendation is get in Speak and Profit, because you'll get done even faster than writing your book. It'll inspire you, and you could very well book a speaking gig and close a deal and get more business before your book is even done and before your first payment is even due. So you can get started for $727. My recommendation is just get inside here, because you're going to get that feedback from me. And if one of the things that you want to know more about is when you apply and fill out the form for me to review your speech, just mention your book on there, and I will actually talk about that in my review. So that's a benefit of getting in the program right now, and being one of the first in here too.
So, Mike, there is one more left. Timer ran out. So I'm going to go into the speed round to get these last 3 questions knocked out, and then we'll go to the studio audience here. So,
fantastic.
30 seconds each question max. Well, what does it mean to be featured in the product?
Okay, so featured in the product means you're actually going to be listed in the membership site. You're going to get your speech listed in there, because right now we've got 18 of the people who are originally in the live studio. I'm looking for people who are action takers right now, who want more exposure, want a bigger audience. You're going to get your speech loaded in here, okay? And you're also going to get my feedback in there as well. So the whole point of this is I want to give our audience members reasons to connect with each other, to get more exposure, and also to see what that feedback is, because we all learn from each other as well. My goal is to make it even better. Now, when you update, let's say, for example, you like the feedback I give. Now, you don't have to like it, or you get some feedback from some other members of the community. You can incorporate that in an updated version of your speech, which we will actually put inside the membership site. So what's it mean? It means exposure. And what's great about my clients and my customers is a high probability they could be your clients and customers too. So exposure, an opportunity to network, potentially do some business, generate some high quality leads. And let's face it, these are highly qualified entrepreneurs who are abundance-minded, like-minded people just like you.
So Rick asks, how long is the presentation that we get to have recorded? A full-length webinar, 90 minutes, an hour, et cetera?
10 minutes. The goal is a 10-minute talk. Now, you can do anything you want with it, but to be fair to other members, I'm not going to watch your 90-minute webinar unless you're paying me $5,000 if I have the time, okay? I made room for 20, so right now is the time to jump in here. But you don't need more than 10 minutes. It is a short pitch inside this framework. You can adapt that into a book. You can adapt it into anything you want, but we start with something that's digestible and for other people to provide feedback as well. So again, this is a community. So what we're doing is just like Publish and Profit, where other people invest in each other's books, we're invested in reviewing each other's speeches. It's not only fun, it's educational, it's entertaining as well. And again, the goal is to make you better so you can get and close deals and also generate some leads too.
Last question here, Mike. Raul, and if you don't mind, I'll put a little thought on that as well. Raul says, how do we overcome nervousism from the stage? Is that covered in the course? And I'm sure it is. But I know for me, a couple of things are important. Number one, being very well prepared with slides. Mm-hmm. When you go through the course and you have a very well prepared presentation, that's part number one. Part number two is making sure you're in front of the right audience, right? You don't want to be talking to people at a real estate convention about dog breeding, right? So, and that's when there is a disconnect. But if you're in front of the right people and you're prepared, you just want to get out there, do it once the first time. You're going to realize, wow, start connecting. I was doing a presentation the other day where I won Best Speaker. And a lot of the people in the audience were taking notes. And for me, sometimes I think I'm boring everybody. So I look for one or two people like that's either smiling or giving me eye contact. And once I do, I'll lock onto those three people during my presentation and go back and forth to them. And that helps me overcome the nervousness because it happens to me as well.
Fantastic.
What about you?
Yeah, so I agree completely. I think preparation is 9/10 of this. The other thing is, remember, first of all, we cover all the nervousness, okay? Because that's been over and over again. And I really get into the psychology, and part of this is the physiology. It's smiling and enthusiasm goes a long way. And I got to take more of my medicine and remember that all the time. And just remember to be in your heart. people will fall in love with you when you're sharing your heart. And part of this is about telling stories. The more you teach, the less you connect. The more stories you tell, the deeper you connect. And I talked about that. If you saw that little review, there's more of that in there. It's about emotional amplitude. And this is a learnable skill. It's accessing something that's totally natural. It's part of you already, but we learn to hide it and we hide behind it. But your nervousness is a selfish act when you're worried about you and not thinking through the lens of your audience and thinking, how can I serve them the most way? Your brain is so busy serving and helping people. Think about how you've been busy with your hands before. You're working. That's what happens when you are speaking and you're focused on someone else and you're in a service mindset. You naturally shift out of that nervousness and that selfishness that's holding you back. And we get you out of that in a heartbeat. And again, that's a big part of this, what this experience is like when we're doing our monthly coaching inside the membership site, and also when you're getting the feedback. But remember, we're running out of those bonuses. So you want to get in here right now so you actually qualify for that, because I want to be able to give you an opportunity to not only use the fill in the blanks done for you scripts, all the tools that are in the program, but also to get the bonus feedback and the review with myself as well. So I know we've got a question from Rocco. If you want to go up and go ahead one at a time to Nicole. And we've got some audience questions as well. So let's show our audience. I want to give them a hand for being here because you've provided some great motivation for me just to stay focused and attentive as well. Rocco, go ahead. Speak directly into the microphone.
Sure. Thanks, Mike. Great presentation so far. Just wondering, is it physically possible to actually get speaking engagements that pay you? It doesn't seem, very probable, but maybe you can talk about some of your students who have done that.
Sure. Great question. So, and let's make sure we get the seat set up for the next person who does this here a little more comfortable for him. Okay, so the answer to that is getting paid speaking gigs. So it turned out, this is really exciting, one of our attendees who was at the live event actually took the training from the first day and booked a paid speaking gig while he was here, okay? So I want you to know just how important it is. We give you the actions, we give you the scripts, and most people just don't know who to talk to and what to say to them, and a shift in how you communicate. So for example, there is a way to communicate to event planners and booking agents so they want to hire you. But if you don't use this one subtle little twist to talk to them and make it about them and how they're going to look to their boss, for example, they're not even going to talk to you. They're going to know you're a newbie, and there's a chance that you're going to screw it up for them. Okay, so there's a way to assure them. So it's kind of like speaking a special language and knowing a secret handshake to book a gig. So that's a huge part of this. And prior to that, this guy was struggling. He didn't know what to say, and he was getting turned away. So we were able to reveal that inside the training. So that's the first thing. The other thing I will tell you is getting a paid speaking gig usually comes after you do some either free ones or you do what are known as the platform speaking, which is something that we've been doing for years and years very, very successfully. So I'll take another audience question here. Whoever wants to come up next, go ahead and walk up here. Introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and then ask your question. And look directly at the camera here, which is camera number 1. That's that one right there. Okay, go ahead and sit down and put your nose right in front of the mic. And okay, fantastic. Great. Ask your question. Awesome.
Hi, Mike. Great presentation. Really enjoyed it. And one of the things that really resonated with me was when you talked about the 7 myths. Mm-hmm. And the one of them was that I'll never get a speaking engagement. And what I liked what you said was that there were 14 ways of doing that. So during this program, how much do you drill down into those 14 ways so that the participants can walk away with a real high confidence that they'll be able to get a speaking engagement?
Sure. Okay. So great question. I appreciate that, Richard. So first of all, what we have found is most of the time what's preventing us from getting stuff done is just knowing the physiology and also the language patterns. So we give you the step-by-step scripts. We tell you what to say, how to say it, the fill in the blanks. So in that presentation, for example, I actually give you specific websites that you can go to get listed, for example. I give you specific tools. So I get really, really, really specific. It's the exact same ones that I use, exact same ones Ed Rush uses, for example, and also some of our clients and customers. And know that what always happens inside our communities is once you ask for some help, someone's going to raise their hand and say, well, I've got 2 other ones and I've got 3 other ones. So this program constantly evolves and we're increasing. And remember, I'm doing the monthly coachings as well. So I'm speaking on average 2 to 3 times a month. Traveling, speaking, presenting, selling. I'm doing paid speaking, free speaking, platform speaking. I don't do much free speaking anymore because I just don't need to. So as I'm doing this, I'm in the dirt all the time. I'm either getting exposed to my own clients and customers, you, and also I'm sharing everything that I'm using right now. So you're gaining access to tools and resources and people that I'm using in real time. So hopefully that answered that question. Thanks for asking it, Richard. Okay, next up, I know we've got Ty. Go ahead, Ty.
Hey, Mike. My name's Ty Kane, and I take people into the future, and I get excited about that all the time. And I'm human, and there are times when I get lazy. And in the first couple of hours being with you here at the coaching program, I got several of your ideas from the enthusiasm that you have, as well as the specific ideas about how to make contact with people to open up easy conversations for more opportunities. And I've got a list in my notes of people that I hadn't even thought of. They're right in front of my nose, not only looking at my phone, but looking in other places. So would you talk about, I'm sure everybody's out there, one of the biggest questions I had starting speaking was, who can I talk to? How can I get connected? And you had so many ideas that opened up possibilities. And I've done a lot of this, and there were still so many ideas. Could you talk more about places that people can easily go find opportunities to speak and not only get their message, but make connections and have fun doing it?
Yeah, it's a great question, Ty. So in the program, we go through, again, a variety of places. My favorite places to go get speaking gigs is, one of them is I belong to a variety of mastermind groups. You can go to meetups. One of the things are associations, trade shows, and all of those have groups. They're looking for speakers to present at their events all the time. If you are an author and you have a book, let's say you've gone through Publish and Profit, for example, doing a book signing is a fantastic way to get either a free or a paid speaking gig, and also get paid where they'll buy your books for all the people in the room. They use that as a way to get people in the room. So one of the important things is once you go through this program and you've got your 10-minute talk, and let's say whether you've done it at home and you've gone through the digital program, or you opt to come to the physical live event here in our studio, you walk away with your recorded 10-minute talk. Well, you can put that up and post it on Facebook Live, for example, and target with you can spend $5 a day. You can target the audience and the people you want to see your speech, so you can get speaking gigs that way. You can do the exact same thing with LinkedIn. You can narrowly actually get down to an audience as small as 15 people on LinkedIn that you want to reach. So it might be a specific area of business and focus. Okay, that would be one. Also, speaking bureaus is a great way to get listed. So we give you a whole list of different speaking bureaus that you can get listed on for free. Another place that we give you access to is something called HARO, or Help a Reporter Out. You can get listed on that. They're looking for experts all the time. What's important is once you go through this program, you've got a structure and you've got the perfect tool to help you land and get speaking gigs, and that is a 10-minute sample video. Okay, that looks professional, and it's got everything you need for someone to make a decision to want to book you right now. So again, that's an area that we focus on. It's in the program already. We're giving you lots of tools, and it's part of our ongoing coaching and training. When I book my next deal, I'm going to talk about it in the next training. Also, when other members share their success story and they say, hey, I just booked a gig, I'm going to share that with you too in our communication. So again, you're becoming part of an abundance-minded community when you join the program right now, by the way. All right, so I know we have one more question. Go for it.
Hi, Mike. My name's Lynn, and I have a little confession. I'm one of your earliest customers in that I bought the infomercial toolkit.
Fantastic.
And I used it to, I became one of the top 10 Facebook earners in my time. So I was one of the top 10 to make 6 figures off of
Congrats.
Facebook using your product.
All right.
And
Love that.
So from there, I actually went to Make It, Market, Launch It, and then use that program to make some money. And so all the things I've invested in with you have either been have been leading edge and have at least 3 times overpaid for themselves. So anybody who's watching this is the moment to get in because it's going to change your life. My question though is how prepared should someone be prepared? How prepared should they be to make the most of this program? In that, do you need to have your message platform figured out? How prepared do you need to be in terms of your messaging for this program?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I'm really glad you asked that one. So the good news is you can start out from square one. We had people show up at the training, for example, or for that matter in the program, but they had no idea, or they thought they had an idea and they changed it as soon as they got here because they got some feedback in their coaching. Okay, they filled out and they did a little bit of preparation, okay? And it became abundantly clear that it didn't work. Or they started looking at the framework and the template and they were like, okay, I don't have these little components, but they were able to figure those out. And also, we have you think through the end in mind, okay? So what is the outcome or the result you want your speech to do for you? And some people start out and they fell in love with an idea and they've been trying to make a business out of an idea that frankly sucked or didn't have a market with that had any money. Okay, which is not a good idea. That's a charity, and charity is what you do when you make a lot of money or when you're making money, not when you're poor and broke and miserable. So the short answer to the question is we get people who are already really good speakers. So if you already are a speaker, you're already selling, you're doing platform gigs, you're getting paid gigs, this is great for you. If you're square zero, you're confused, you're overwhelmed, you're not sure where to go, and you're just starting out, this is going to work for you as well. And what we do is we don't just give you the template for a talk or a script or all the resources and tools, all the done-for-you scripts and templates. We give you a framework for an entire platform, a You Everywhere Now platform where we take you on a journey. And again, we help you think through the long tail of your speech to a paid speaking, a platform speaking opportunity, writing a book, building a coaching, consulting, advising business, multiplying and amplifying your message, and just being able to gain access to higher quality people. So if you're at the total beginning, no problem. And if you're growing and you're already successful, this is a great program, and you're going to get that additional feedback and more access to an audience. So no matter what, here's what's important. You can get in right now, again, for as little as $727. Single pay or 3 pay, you've got a 30-day no questions asked money back guarantee. One thing we didn't even talk about is you can get 6 months, no payments, no interest with PayPal option, which is also on the order form too. And remember, no matter what, get inside here. You can download my slide presentation. You can look through that, or you can call the phone number that's on the page right now. If you have some questions, call up. You can talk to Nicole or Chris, who's on my team. They're here standing by, who want to support and help you out as well. So with that, let me check in with Mike Filsame, see if you have anything else. But here's the last big idea I want to give you. If not now, when? Okay, there's no time for standing by and waiting. If you've been thinking about this, you've been on the fence, get out there, share your message, build and grow an audience and monetize it. You'll never find a more effective way to get more high quality customers and increase your value and also communicate more effectively than learning how to speak and present, whether it's on camera, whether it's on stages anywhere in the world. So Mike Filsame.
Mike, amazing. It's been 2 hours and 20 minutes. We have so many people still on here to the end. So, folks, we are wrapping up right now. So that button is still there above the chat. Just click that button. It'll open up the order page. It'll leave that order page open for you for a while. And I believe as we're going right now, if we look down, there's still one more bonus left there. Ed, if you want to get access to that, make sure you click over, order that right now. I think this is one of the best products you have, Mike. And I say that because when it comes to speaking, it's been one of the most profitable things that I've ever done in my business. And they say, public speaking is the highest paid profession in the world. If you look at the amount of money that can be made for a 1 hour or 90-minute talk, and having, as I said at the very beginning of the call, having the ability to negotiate having people cover your fares, sometimes your hotel stays. I bring my family. I just got an opportunity to speak in Brazil, and I just threw it out there. I said, if you guys want to cover my flight, my expenses, they said, great. So I get to bring the family. So there's so many things that come along with the perks, as well as being the highest paid profession in the world. As Mike said, if you have the passion, he'll show you how to turn that passion into an expertise and monetize it. And as I said, the reason why I would buy this alone is simply just for those done-for-you products alone. Allows you to just pretty much fill in the blanks and put in all your passion into everything that's there for you. Take the 3-part payment plan. He has a 30-day money-back guarantee, and he just skimmed over the PayPal Bill Me Later or the PayPal credit option. That's at the order page. And there's a little video there that shows you you can get no payments, no interest for 6 months. That means you simply go to PayPal, click the PayPal credit. They'll fund you the money. They'll pay Mike, and you don't have to make any payments for 6 months. There's zero interest as long as you pay it off within 6 months. That is U.S. residents only. You do have to qualify. If not, take the 3-part payment plan.
All right. Thank you, my friend. All right. And thank you for being here today. It's been an absolute pleasure to support you, and I'm looking forward to having you in the program. Like I said a couple moments ago, if not now, when? Right now is the best time ever to take advantage of this. I'd love to review your speech. I'd love to promote you to my community. I'd love to help you build a platform and an audience. More importantly, that's what you need right now to get better at this. This is a very learnable skill, and we've given you all the tools, all the resources, all the scripts you need to get started right now and get results right away. So I want to thank my team as well for all the support. Nicole, our live audience, Lori, my executive assistant. We've got Josh and Brendan in the back. We've got Kimberly here, my friend Ed. And thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you inside the Facebook community, inside the program. And also, if you've chosen to upgrade, or when you choose to upgrade, come to our live event here in the studio where we can help you build and grow your platform in just 3 days and walk away with an awesome recording of your speech as well. So, my friend.
And Kristen working remote.
Kristen, yes, and Rye. Oh, and Mo, thank you. More team members here who have been working their tails off to make this work. Thank you for that, guys. I didn't see you here. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to see you inside the community.
Get in with this guy.
All right.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.